Thanks.
Hey, welcome back to HeroesCCL. I'm Baha Ross, joined by, well, I got some new friends with me today. Who am I joined by? This illustrious ice cream face?
Yes. How did you know my name? My secret name? Oh no! The overlay is spoiling who I was. It's wrong. I am in fact Ice Cream Face.
I'm a caster minion.
We got our caster minion. Welcome back to HeroesCCL, everyone. We're getting ready for our second best of 5 of the day, and we had to dress up because it's Halloween. Happy Halloween, everyone. I hope you all have a phenomenal evening and you get some amazing candy. We could talk about Oxygen versus Storm Esports, but I have a bigger question here, Grubby. Is Halloween a big factor in where you live?
No, not so much, but I think it's catching on a bit. It's a fun holiday to celebrate. I hear my nieces and nephews are starting to trick and treat. That's something our generation never really did. So it's catching up. In terms of in my street, there's one house in like a few dozen houses that actually put pumpkins out, and they've got like 4 smaller children. So among the younger generation, it's starting to liven up, and we're kind of taking off to America.
Well, that's exciting. I'm one of those houses that always buys the gigantic candy bars because I like to spoil kids. Because when I was a kid, getting the full-size bag of Skittles was the best thing on earth, and being able to share that joy. Honest to God, 2 years ago, I gave a bag of Skittles, and this kid just ran down the driveway like, "Mom, I got Skittles!" And it was just like, I was like, my heart is full. I'm a happy man. So every year, I give out large candy. Yeah, I try and give out the biggest candy that I can possibly find at the stores. But let's not talk about Halloween. Let's not talk about candy, even though it's all so delicious. Let's talk about the Oxygen Esports roster. And Mr. Caster Minion, with your Abathur hat, who are we going to be seeing on that Oxygen roster?
And on Oxygen, you'll see the familiar faces from last season in Draded, Hebi, Madara, Nazmaz, Red Robot, with the addition of Pirate Rum. So this roster they haven't changed anything for their main roster, so it'll be interesting to see whether they come out a little bit stronger than the other teams at the start of the season. You would expect that the other teams would be having some growing pains, whereas if Oxygen doesn't look good in this first week, it's going to be more meaningful, I'd say. It'll be a more showing tell of their power level, depending how they look. It's kind of a given that you'd expect Oxygen to be strong in this first week, but you also have Storm, who didn't make a ton of changes either. If Grubby, you want to take it?
Yeah, I mean, this is a very strong roster. Ivy Tings, Quasar, BBJ Lobber, they're all proven. Even CPX had a pretty damn good series last season. And Rutsko, he was a great Zarya, he was a great Tracer. He didn't want to play in Season 2, played Masters Clash, but not this one. Big mistake. Now he's back, eager to join. He's been picked up by Storm Esports, a very powerful DPS player.
These are some titanic rosters, in my opinion, here. We are going to be seeing a lot of really, really big action, I think, between Oxygen and Storm. And this is probably one of the premier maps or matchups for this weekend, as it looks like Springy wants to be able to join in and say hi as well. So we always appreciate the caster animals jumping on stream. So a little Halloween well wishes from our Springy friend as well. Maybe we could bait Logan to come on stream a little bit later here, Grubby. We'll have to do a little bit of talking in the background, but we are getting ready for this next best of 5 series, Oxygen versus Storm Esports. And as I said, this is going to be an exciting one. I'm really, I want to see the power levels of both these teams because they're so strong. Like both teams, Grubby, they only got one new player for both sides for both teams, correct?
Yeah, Cascon out, and let's see who went out actually for Storm. They only lost Cappy. Yeah, yes. That's true. They are the 2 teams with only 1 player out. That's it. That's the nail on the head. So very interesting juxtaposition here between these 2 teams. 2 rosters that are fairly intact from last season. So it should be fireworks immediately.
Fireworks indeed, and we can talk a little bit about the draft because we know where we're going to for map number 1, and we can get you up to date on how we got to our first map here. It's going to be the members of Storm Esports choosing to take us to Volskaya Foundry, but let's talk about some coin flip stuff as well. Oxygen won the coin flip, opting for first pick priority and banning out Sky Temple. Storm Esports got rid of Dragonshire, and for anyone at home that might not know and are like, wait a minute, Bahamut, Grubby, and Justing, well, Sky Foundry's not in the map pool. Actually, it is. At the end of the season, we asked the players to vote on the maps that they would like to play for HeroesCCL. And the vote was decided that Garden of Terror is out, and we have Volskaya Foundry back in. So, well, we'll see what kind of power level actually comes from this map, because Grubby, you and I last season talked extensively, or a season ago, about how kind of lackluster the Triglaw Protector value can be. So will they be able to innovate on the side of Oxygen or Storm, or is this just going to be a big team fight sort of map?
Well, this is it's a bit of a split push map in how many how important wave clear is, but the lanes aren't as far apart as on Alterac and Cursed Hollow, for instance. So there is gank potential coming from every angle. It's a slow map, so you better make sure that you've got some strong level 20s, as the objective isn't very strong, and there aren't any alternative win objectives, basically. Like, if you look at some maps, there are bosses and the objective. Tomb of the Spider Queen has Web Weavers and the boss. Alterac, 2 bosses, and you've got the 3 generals from the objective. But on this map, I guess it's supposed to be the Protector, but it doesn't achieve the same thing as like a Dragon Knight usually. So yeah, it tends to be a little slower. I wonder if we're going to even see things like Tracer, Zul'jin, Tychus. They can burn the objective pretty well, and Zul'jin loves to hit it. I'm happy to see the map again, to be honest.
Storm picking this too kind of shows that they probably have something prepared for them to pick it in the very first game of the series. They almost have to have something specific for this map prepared, because there's very little reason to pick it otherwise. Both of these teams, like we touched on earlier, haven't made a ton of changes, so there's no reason for them to do anything too out of the ordinary, unless they've, like, this is the first time we're getting Volskaya in the season 3 of the CCL, so and not many people have practiced on it much, so I'm really hoping that Storm has some kind of cheese prepared for this, because otherwise it's a little weird to pick it. And also banning Johanna is a little weird as well. Maybe some inside information going on here with the Johanna and Anubarak bans.
Is it just what they want to blow up, like the front line kind of thing? Banning Johanna so that they can mind control blow up?
Maybe the monk is coming.
It's definitely a possibility. I do like that Oxygen immediately, they got the Stukov, but this is also a very strong Stukov in being heavy Stukov. It is something that I've been able to cast in the past. We talked about it last season. I think this is one of his strongest heroes for the Oxygen side, so a nice start for the Oxygen draft. That Sylvanas Murden, it's looking good, but what do you think of this draft, Justin, as we're getting into our next ban phase, seeing what Oxygen's starting to pick up?
I'm really enjoying what Oxygen has drafted so far. I think their draft couldn't look much better at this point. I would expect they could look to ban Dahaka, because this is one map where, like we touched on a bit, the objective is not very strong here on Volskaya Foundry, at least not in the early game. You can't really rely on the objective to win you the game until maybe the third or fourth objective, when it spawns mid for the second time on the fourth objective. It's you'd like to end on the bottom, the third objective, which spawns bottom, but that's kind of not always the case. You don't always get to end with that, so you could see things like, the Dahaka does get a banned away here from Oxygen, which you really do like to see. Oxygen also is the team that has, I believe, Kavgast still coaching them, so you'd expect that Oxygen is going to come maybe a little bit more prepared in terms of drafting for this week 1. They might have a little bit more of a developed playbook, and they're kind of showing that. I really don't know if they could have drafted anything better with their first 3 picks so far.
Whereas Storm Esports Lauber said on Twitter, you better watch CCL this weekend. We have some exciting things, and I'll be honest here, Grubby, this is pretty standard, and this is like a plain piece of bread. There's no jam, there's no butter. You just gave me a piece of just toast. Like, where's the excitement? Where's the flair?
Well, it could come from Oxygen. They have every role represented. It is perfect springboard to jump into Cho'Gall. Blaze can double lane. Cho'Gall in front.
Hey, ETC will be interesting though. We have not seen ETC this season.
I do. Ooh. Oh, okay. There it is. It's not Cho'Gall, but it's pretty close. We've got Nova. So one thing here, I think it's the how she has, I don't remember what it's called for her, but her version of bribe. I think that's what they're doing, is she can bribe the turret camp. So I think that's the strategy here.
It goes back twice as fast, so they're gonna go full Sylvester Stallone and equip everyone with a machine gun.
There was actually, funny enough, there was one time I was playing Quick Match and I let my viewers choose my heroes from time to time, and I played Nova with Covert Mission on Hanamura, and one of my viewers was like, that won't get that much value because you can't use it on the Sentinel camps. And I'm like, but how many turrets can I get? And that was the thing. It's like I just kept getting turrets for our team. So we're loading into this, and Justin, I got to get your thoughts, prediction for this first map.
So Storm is coming in here. They do have a cheese. It's not super obvious, but they're doing the Sylvanas with the Mercenary Queen on top of the Nova with the Bribe to get a bunch of turrets. That's their strategy. That's what they're doing. So they're empowering a bunch of turrets. This was something that we had sort of tried a little bit, but not with the Sylvanas. So they're taking it one step further. And yeah, so that's definitely what they're planning. On the side of Oxygen, they're the first team to bust out the ETC, and I do think ETC is a little undervalued right now, and Imperius doesn't seem bad either. So I think it could go either way. Storm obviously has a cheese prepared, but Oxygen's draft just looks like pretty good standard to me, so we'll have to see.
Well, thank you for the breakdown, as we are just about loaded into Volskaya Foundry. I honestly, if I was a betting man, if I could make some betting happen here, I would be betting on the Storm Esports side. But as always, Justin, thanks for the breakdown analytics, and we are here ready to go into our first map in our second best of 5 of the day. Oxygen in the blue. We have got Draded on the Lunara, Nasmus on the Blaze, ETC to be played by Red Robot, Heavy, Putin on the Stukov, and we got Madara on the Imperius. Over in the red, we have got our Storm Esports crew. We got BBJ on the Anduin, CPX on the Nova, Lauber playing Muradin, IBTings on the Urel, and Rutso on this Sylvanas. Grubby, we haven't heard from you in a little bit. Want to get your thoughts on these drafts going into Volskaya Foundry. Yeah?
That's it.
Okay. All right, well, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Grubby and I are going to sit here, watch the game. Not going to do any commentary. Enjoy our silence.
I'm just Merc Queen Covert Mission. I'm just thinking if this works, and even if it doesn't, I want to try this out with a friend. I want to try out taking this next time on Hanamura and constantly pinging allies like, come on, there's another turret. Ping, 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 pick up, we're full already. 3 turrets, 4 turrets, 5 turrets. Then it's time for objective, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on. And then the Merc Queen, 60% bonus damage turret. Say hello to my Leo friend. And can Oxygen survive that? That's the question. Of course, Lunara does have the bonus damage in PvE, so I don't know how it's going to work out exactly, but love it that they're trying it.
It does. It does really feel like a little bit of a Rambo sort of deal with the amount of, well, the potential for the amount of fortification camps we have. And Lauber is already invading. Nova coming in as well to help grab the camp. Nasmus throws down the oil slick, but Lauber is going to be... No, Nasmus! Ah! Nasmus gets it. Ivy Tinks goes back in, but it's actually a leap of faith from BBJ to save Lauber, and Urel is going to go down. First blood to the side of Oxygen.
Oh man, they wanted all the turrets, including their enemy team's turret. And do you know how it works? Is there like dibs for the team that captured it for like half a second, or is it literally just fastest click in the West wins?
I think it's fastest click, honestly. I don't know. I've never heard of anything about, if you cap the point, you have a priority in channeling. I think it's literally, I think it's just whoever clicks it. Maybe, you know what it probably is? If you capture the point, you probably get the experience.
Merc Queen! No Merc Queen!
Wait, what? No, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Mercenary Queen, level 4.
Oh, that's how it looks? Okay.
Yeah. False alarm. You're okay, yeah.
Third yellow card. Let's take a look at the replay there of that fight. Oh, that's actually kind of the tail end of the fight, isn't it?
Yeah, IBTings.
But, it's first blood and there's nothing else going on. It's cool. IBTings is going to relive that over and over and over. Let's run it again. Replay.
Oh, no. Poor IBTings. But Control Point A is up and available in 19 seconds. Rutso does have one of these fortification camps. The left and the right side will be up. The left side up in about a minute. The right side for the fortification camps up in about a minute 30. There's a bit of dive onto ETC, but he's going to be able to counteract that with a power slide through this Urel. And I think the big priority right now is going to be trying to find level 7 and clearing out this top lane. So the members of Storm want to be having the priority pressure with the Sylvanas Mercenary Queen.
It is fastest click in the West, confirms the Twitch chat, and they're never wrong. So
oh yeah, Twitch chat's only GMs.
Being advantage of Nasmas over over Lauber there. So fair play is something to keep in mind. But at least they can still start to action the covert mission on their own side. Now here's the thing: Nova gets far more stacks from takedowns. But in order to do so, you need to get a takedown. 10 stacks for that. She consumes 25 stacks to get one, and in order to get the double come back faster turret cooldown, she needs to bribe both of the units at the turret camp, not just one. So she needs 50 stacks. Right now he's got 19. You get one per minion. Needs another 31. That's about how many minion waves? That's a lot, 5 minion waves. So it's gonna take a while till they can use that.
Or she could just get 5 kills, and that's going to be all the stacks you'd need right there, because it's 10 stacks per kill. So
true.
Yeah. That could, that's the caster math I can do. 5 times 10, easy enough. But 7 talent here is here for both sides. We have the control point A over to the side of Oxygen, and it seems like Storm Esports, they're not going to be able to step up for this. Lauber, a little bit low in HP, is going to be trying to step forward. Jet Propulsion from Nasmus connects. There's going to be a Lurking Arm from Heavy. Trigla Protector does descend into lane. And if anyone's wondering, standard damage, 183. Into structures, it's 274. And here is the priority we're going to be seeing from the Trigla. I was wondering about this. Is it going to be a priority into bottom lane to push things up and play for that control point C like Justin was talking about? Seems like that's the case. And, they just... I was like, why are they so far back in the lane? Looked like the Trigla Protector went to go pick up Lunara.
Aw, CPX missed the snipe. You need 5 quest stacks to get that full snipe damage. He's got the CDR at level 7, which gives him something like a 3-second snipe cooldown. Let's see, no, 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
He's got 3 hits in a row.
I casted someone, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I casted a game where there was a Nova and they took like the whole snipe build and everything, and a few of us in chat were like, I don't know about this, but simply enough, if you land the snipe, it's a really good build. So just land the snipe forehead and you can be a god tier Nova. But it
was 5, now he missed it again and it's gone.
GG's.
It's
also,
hard, man.
Also, CPX has like no mana right now, so it's probably going to need to reset in the lane. And for anyone wondering, as we've been noting, 44 covert mission stacks for this Nova. So 6 more, and she'll be able to bribe a camp and get the cooldown reduction. Or she goes over to the top right and tries to get the cooldown reduction on the siege camp to be able to push into top. Now it's all fortification pressure.
Yeah, because you need 3 stacks for that. That's 75 total minion kills, 7.5 heroes. That would be a waste. It's so easy to kill as well, and you don't really want to spam those. Those are like maybe at level 22 hero levels. Those are going to take down half a top keep. Okay. But mostly it's just keep them busy kind of camp. Doesn't do too much, and it's easy to clear. It's all about them turrets. If you pop down 3 to 4 turrets with Merc Queen, that protector's yours, baby. And that's the late game plan here.
I like the plan so far from Storm. We'll see if they can actually execute on this. And on just to note as well, Justin came in with the information as well about the fortification camps. It is fastest click wins, but, and this is something that I missed completely, Stukov, Lurking Arm makes it impossible to click on the fortification camp. So that might have been the reason that Lauber couldn't have grabbed it, because the Lurking Arm was out.
It takes like, I don't know, 0.1, 0.25 seconds to channel the pickup. And so that is very continuous damage that would prevent it.
Yeah, I like that. I like that read right there, and thank you, Justin, for catching that one right there. I completely missed it. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna have to go back and watch the VOD after the show today, and just kind of put it down to each individual frame. But now this is Storm invading the camp on the left-hand side. You have BBJ with a fortification camp. You've got Rutzo with one. Lauber's now going to pick up one, but the dive into the bottom lane onto this ETC is going to take a lot of damage. Lauber comes over the wall, misses the Stormbolt. Wailing Arrow from Sylvanas. There's going to be a Light Bomb that does not connect. ETC power slides through, but Sylvanas gets the last hit. I thought Anduin was going to snipe that one, and here comes Mass Siege through the bottom lane, Grubby.
Yeah, meanwhile, Precision Strike to clear part of top wave. That fort was taken down, though, by the 3 members of Oxygen. And now they're going to have to try and make up for what they lost. Turret, actually very weird placement, because
it's in range of tower.
It gets taken down by the fort and nothing else was in range. So I would have liked them to just not use it, or to use it in front of the gate. Anyway.
Murden Dwarf tosses into the enemy side. There's going to be the avatar form used by him for a biotic emitter on the ground. ETC, he doesn't have Mosh, but it's actually a stage dive ETC, and he tried to set something up, and it is going to be working out for the side of Oxygen. 1, 2, 3 kills as Ardent Defender is forced, and Ivy Tinks is able to back away. But I have to say here, Grubby, this is Oxygen just on a roll. They got top lane fort. They're going to get another Trigla Protector, and they're just going to be rocketing ahead in their experience after that triple kill that was just found.
Yeah, very well done there by Oxygen. Again, I'm finding Lunara impressive when there's lots of crowd control to back her up. And that's exactly what is here. Nasmaz, Madara, so much CC. ETC, of course, has the stage dives, going to kind of play that off lane. We talked about it yesterday, and here it is coming into play. With Echo Pedal and stage dive, keys the global here. All in all, a very heavy front line. Nova getting attacked. CPX using Precision Strike before he dies, gets a bit of damage on Lunara. But that is a kill, and a return kill there on Stukov.
Stukov will fall. Madara very low on Imperius. This is looking like one of those moments where you definitely do not back away. And I had called for Oxygen to get the objective, but ETC, you can see his positioning. He's going to be moving off this. Oh, wait. Okay, that's a camp to be grabbed instead of rushing towards the
objective. I guess they figured they were too late anyway.
Okay.
Already channeled. Let's take a look at that triple kill just now by Oxygen. It was a bit messy. We had the blues running over the reds. Look at this. Wrath of the Angiris comes out on Sylvanas. You got damage coming in from Lunara. Stage dive through it to the back. That's how you want to stage dive. That big Imperious skewer on BBJ and on Lobber as well. And that was the triple kill. Yrel gets away, as she tends to do. And we are back to the present. Zup.
God, I love those replays. I really, really do. And I hope all of you at home are enjoying the ability that we can go back and look at some of those team fights. Really, really cool tech that we have for HeroesCCL. And 16 talents here to the side of Oxygen with the Trigla Protector, picking up Imperius, moving into mid lane. Oxygen opening up the map so they can breathe easier and step into storm. Oh my God!
What the hell?
That right there, that is choking pollen. That is choking pollen value into that Sylvanas. She absolutely just got chunked so hard by that.
I'm looking at what killed him. He also took 1,300 damage from Gatling Cannon Bahamut.
Oh my God.
The Protector is good? Question mark.
Noxious Blossom dealt 314 damage to the Sylvanas, but it was 585 overkill.
Yeah, it was mostly Gatling Cannon. It was just like, he didn't move much, Rutso. I don't think he saw it. It was literally, it's one of those cartoons where someone shoots the machine gun at the other cartoon character's feet, and then they start dancing, except Rutso wasn't dancing. So, bye-bye feet. 1,300 damage. And here's the first, I believe that's the first bribe we've seen this game. Nova had about 85 stacks.
Yeah.
Now he has 57. Wait, how did he get that?
Yeah, I clicked on the Nova model as well, and I got a little confused. I think it was one of those things where CPX might have bribed one of the units for the top right camp, and then the team came in and was like, no, save your stacks. Maybe that was the consideration. That's at least my guess. I'd have to go back and look and see if that was actually the play around the camp.
I don't think he used it on turrets. Plus, you need to use it on the fortification camp in total in order to get the CDR, and they did get it. I don't know how he got 58 stacks right after capping it. I guess it was like a little bit more than a minion wave. Anyway, Light Bomb misses. Yep. Oh, Wrath of the Angiris interrupted. He tries to get away with the Q. So far he does. Murden gets attacked. Anduin with the save. Murden straight back into it. Lobber, you're crazy. You're low. There's a big silencing arm from Stukov. Madara should have his Q available again, but BBJ interrupts it with his E. Nice route there, and that's it. Breather.
Lunara throwing out a Thornwood Vine from here and there, and I actually already made it another note in my notebook here. I was like, another Thornwood Vine game. I'm gonna have to check this out for myself as well. Yrel able to jump away, but it doesn't seem like Oxygen, they're done with this engagement by any means. They want to continue to push up through this mid lane. Control point C hasn't been announced. Lobber Dwarf tosses in, gets the Stormbolt. Madara very low. Wrath of Angiris will miss, and the Celestial Charge doesn't help Imperius get away. A little overextension from Oxygen as Lobber chases in. No Stormbolt available. ETC going to be able to just back away, mounts up, and is able to disengage. But that was a very, very good punishment from the side of Storm, being able to make that call and turn. Though Sylvanas is showing in top, this is a 4v4, Grubby.
4v4 for now. Sylvanas is joining though as fighting for this camp heats up. Draded seeing if he can do the relevant damage there. See absorbing. Lauber doesn't have avatar anymore. He's really low. Red Robot dropping low as well. He's at the bunker. Bunker's gonna get shot down. Can Nova get the kill? Lauber's at 350 health. Red Robot does not get away. CPX gets the kill with the explosive snipe shots on an ally, and it actually splashes to ETC and everybody's dying. Just Nova and Heavy.
Now that is
I miss a snipe.
That is a replay that I definitely need to see because there was so much happening in that engagement, and CPX is going to go down. A solid pentakill domination ace for the side of Oxygen. They will continue to siege into top lane. Imperious moving into mid. Objective phase is up and available, but this top lane fort, will be falling.
We will be able to look at that fight once again in a bit. That's going to be good. But for now, it's going to be the keep down for Oxygen Esports. They're able to take that down with 6 versus 2 forts. Every single lane is massively pushed. So a little bit of that ETC Blaze Lunara value against a team that has a Murden, no wave clear, Anduin, no wave clear, and Nova. Wave clear every 60 seconds if you're happy to burn your heroic on that. Had all the makings of what looked to be a decent team fight for Storm initially.
Yeah.
ETC nearly down, Nova getting the kill. But then something happened. Something very toxic. Something very poisonous. And Lunara put everyone really, really low with that Starwood Spear. Attack everyone a little bit. Boom, poison. Suddenly everyone's low and within kill range. Let's look at it one more time, Bahamut.
Take a look at this replay as we've got it available while some teams grab some camps around Control Point C. This is the kickoff of the fight as Lauber Dwarf tosses away with a sliver of HP. And this objective phase, the camp is still up and available, attacking Lauber. ETC gets sniped by CPX. There is going to be Urel trying to back away, but Draded continues to apply the damage. And Draded is trying to 1v1 into the Sylvanas, but she is able to get one last auto into the Lunara and find the counter kill. Bit of a bloodbath in that engagement, but still, Oxygen coming out on top. 11-6 in our kills, 20 talents here, looming to the side of Storm Esports. Oxygen already surpassing that level 20 in a second here. Things keep looking better and better for Oxygen. Grubby, is this the Triglav that ends, or is this going to be a Triglav that doesn't end?
It's 50-50. Precision strike hitting nothing. Stukov getting attacked. He uses the conveyor to get away. Murder jumps in. Nazmas dropping low. There's the Pyromania. No more bunker. There's the Storm Balls. Wrath of the Endurus. Nazmas getting taken down by Rotso. He actually blinks in. The absolute madman. He blinks in, but the kill was already there.
And Sylvanas to be traded out? Okay, all right.
Well, he blinked in. He already got the kill on Blaze, and then he blinked in. It was actually a little bit of an int. Little bit.
Little int, just a small one. Meanwhile, Imperius has just been kind of driving the Triglav around. He's just been doing laps around the neighborhood like, is it time to start sieging? Is it now time to start sieging? We got 20 seconds left on this Triglav. It's above 50%. This keep shall fall in favor of Oxygen. Maybe if Oxygen can find a kill out of this Triglav Protector, maybe they could go core.
Yeah, it is possible. It is 4v4. Depends if they get another kill. Nice push on the light bomb. Ivy Tinks gets blocked away by that, what's it called? The fist? The rocket fist?
Rocket fist, yep. So it's really good read from, I believe it was Imperius piloting the Triglav, but definitely does not end as we are still here on Volskaya Foundry. And the bottom lane keep does fall, mid lane keep around 20%. And another support camp to go over to the side of Oxygen. In theory, Grubby, the Storm Esports draft is really cool. It's got some interesting synergies with the level 4s of Sylvanas and Nova, but I feel like they're lacking a sustainable fight. Yeah. Like there's cool bursts from Nova, but that's about it. She does her burst, and then it's like, cool. What else are you gonna do, Nova?
Well, if he hit all of his snipes, they would have won this game already.
Okay.
100% of the snipes.
I can't argue with that. I mean, those are just facts that I can't disprove.
But it's not easy to hit all of them.
No, not at all.
That's the problem.
The skill shot, honest to God, like the skill shot of getting the snipe with Nova, it's a lot more daunting. I feel that whenever I play it, it's like, okay, this is a lot harder because you got to consider the minion wave or whatever else is going to get in the way consistently.
At least he's got splash now. It's not going to give him quest stacks, but it still has a 60 or was it 90% splash damage? That's pretty good. So she's still easier to play than Ana. The range is really good, and you can hit minions to proc it, kind of like Hanzo's Q build.
Oh, that is very true. Yeah, it is very much Hanzo Q build. IB Ting's looking to engage over the wall, has the Unstoppable, but Nasmus just backs away, getting hit with the Righteous Hammer. And Nasmus, can he find the engagement? Madara is still sharking around, looking for a deny onto the flank or even a Celestial Charge.
The upgraded Light Bomb from BBJ is going to try to rush someone in with armor. Maybe it should be on Nova. How about a Nova Light Bomb? She gets a massive shield in the midst of everyone. Big, like, coming in from Cloak. Actually, he could hide with Cloak for permanent invisibility somewhere in an unexpected place, and then suddenly Anduin, boom, Light Bomb out of nowhere.
Looking at
kind of like the Big Bang, light out of nowhere.
I do like that though, and there is a true invisibility in Here's the Storm if you stand still for, what is it, 5 seconds? That doesn't seem right.
I think it's less.
Yeah, I think it's like 3 seconds. If you stand still for 3 seconds or so, you are going to be able to be permanently cloaked, though your body still
It's 1.5. It's 1.5.
Wow,
if you're visible, then you stop. That takes 3 seconds.
Okay.
Like to become invisible, to become cloaked, and then another 1.5. So I think you're thinking of 4.5 seconds from visibility to true invis.
Okay.
But if you're already cloaked and walking around, then it's only 1.5 seconds stationary. Stationary. So
we're back at control point A again, and I'm looking at some of the 20s as well on the side of Oxygen. Really excited about the upgrade on the Wrath of Angiris from the Imperius. The Unrelenting Descent, descending from the heavens, restores 30% of Imperius's maximum health and mana. Consuming a Valorous Brand reduces the cooldown of Wrath of Angiris by 10 seconds, and Wrath of Angiris has an 80-second cooldown.
Pretty cool, pretty cool. Too bad that CPX actually used to stack there. There's no point when you stack half of it, and now you've lost it for the future one. But either way, there's still 3 turrets all in all, with Mercenary Queen.
Well, here's the big dive. ETC blinks away. Really good read from ETC. Celestial Charge will connect. There's a Righteous Hammer to knock back the engaged. Madara is going to be using the Wrath of Angiris to buy a window of iframes, per se, as the massive shove comes out. Celestial Charge will connect onto Lobber.
3 turrets.
And look at this.
Queen.
Wrath of Angiris is on a 9-second cooldown. We just saw it how many seconds ago? 4 or 5?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. You reset it with W's, he's getting many of them. But are these turrets worth it? Look at the Merc Queen damage. It's 60% more. It didn't do anything. This cheese is smelly.
And this cheese might be a little stale, a little moldy if we're able to get a sniff on it. But either way, we have the Storm Esports trying their best to get into this as another Precision Strike comes out from Nova. Lobber gonna get, I think he got the Dwarf Toss out right there. Stage dive from ETC into the backline. Face melts people around. IB Ting's trying to back away. No Power Slide available as Lobber is able to continue to back away. There's the Power Slide just off a cooldown. Ardent Defender buys a few moments with that Light Bomb. Inner light value, and
24 HP Nasmus. It's still a 1-for-1.
Yep.
Could have been even better for Storm. That's impressive, but there's catapults on the core.
Catapults are arriving on the core, and really quickly for anyone wondering, catapult damage currently 428. But into structures, that's 856 damage. That core shielding is going to get shredded. Nova using the Precision Strike to try and clear out the wave so that they, on the side of Storm...
It doesn't even kill catapults.
It doesn't. But Storm, they get the control point for the second charge.
Two Precision Strikes to kill 3 out of 4 catapults. It does actually help. What a good hero. Too bad he had to give up the best DPS ulti in the game, Triple Tap. He's going to have to try and work without it.
Oh god, with the act. Oh wait, CPX, damage over time. Anduin's got the healing. Yrel's still living on this point. She's trying to delay things out. Rutso very low, doesn't get the haunting wave out of there. And the core, it's losing. It's going down. The core is gonna fall to the catapults, and Storm Esports, they try to invest everything. ETC wants to get onto the score screen, and that's going to be game number 1 going over to the side of Oxygen. Grubby, I'm not going to lie, that game felt like all chaos to me. It was just pure chaos.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, thank you, Storm, for doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. It was so much fun.
Now, Storm, I need you to, you need to do this again, but win with it, so that way there's more Novas in Storm League, because we all need more Novas in Storm League, right, Justin?
That's absolutely right. Everyone could use more Novas in every game, especially the Storm League type games. A little weird that CPX actually had the highest damage on his team as Nova. I wouldn't have expected that.
The same siege damage as Sylvanas.
Yeah,
What?
so maybe the Nova wasn't actually the problem in that game. I don't know. Well, in watching it, it did seem like pretty much every time I looked at CPX, he had no mana.
Mm-hmm.
So, the strategy of... I mean, the Nova pick obviously didn't seem to work out. Like, the cheese didn't seem to do its job. They picked the Sylvanas and the Nova for the turrets, and the goal there would have been to gather 5 turrets for the last objective there that they fought over and just put them all down. And I think they had 2 or 3, but that was certainly not enough to beat Oxygen. Oxygen just came out swinging. It seemed like they have definitely scrimmed on this map. There's no way that they were not prepared. They got the first objective and they instantly knew what to do with it. They sent the robot bottom and sent the other 3 top to get siege damage top, and then they ended up breaking the top keep first. So Oxygen just looked like a well-oiled machine. Everyone on their team did their job. They knew what their purpose was. Hebi made the Stukov E-build look a lot better than any of the other ones we've seen so far.
Oh, yeah.
And it was nice to see Red Robot on ETC, because that's one of his better heroes, and ETC getting the little buffs. I like that they picked it up in this game. He played it well.
I was actually just about to ask you your thoughts on the ETC being picked up here, and you're all for it? Do you think ETC is a viable tank now?
Yeah, I think ETC is good. Having the global is really, really nice. Mosh Pit feels a little bit difficult to use in the current meta. It just feels like there's typically too many interrupts to reliably get mosh pits off. But Stage Dive is really strong. Even as an engage tool, you can use it to flank, you can just split during the objectives. It has a lot of purposes. You can even use it just to escape if the enemy team uses all of their crowd control and you're low. So I really do like ETC, especially with the Stage Dive. And Red Robot kind of put on a bit of a clinic on ETC. He kind of showed how much value the hero can get. He's one of the better ETCs, and so it's nice to see that hero come back into the meta, because I think that'll be pretty good for Oxygen going forward.
I have one more follow-up question just on this ETC. The block party at level 1, how much value do you think that denied Storm Esports from maybe getting kills?
Definitely quite a bit. They played this meatball style where they're all kind of just clumped up, or deathball style. They're just all clumped up, and they're going to get a lot of value from that. Between that and the Stukov, they're pretty invincible if they're all just staying together. There wasn't a lot of punish on the side of Storm in that game. They can have maybe a Muradin jump in with a light bomb attached and into Silence Arrow, but even that, there's not enough damage behind that for how tanky Oxygen's comp was. So it felt like there was really no way to punish them for clumping like that. So they definitely got a lot of value from the Stukov and the block party. I liked the comp. They executed it flawlessly. Oxygen's just looking really strong in this game 1.
I absolutely agree. Grubby, did you have any takeaways from that first map?
I'm pretty impressed to equalize siege damage with Nova when you have a Sylvanas on the team. I think it was a pretty cool idea. I really like it. I'm so glad they did it, special strat. But I was unimpressed with turret damage, even with the 60% bonus. Like, imagine pulling off the hardest sports maneuver in the game, and once you pull it off, you realize, like, actually it's not worth anything. Like, they go for this combo, they finally get the combo after it's so hard to get it, and then it's actually not good. So G's successful, but you forgot that it was actually not good.
So now the big question for you, Grubby, is you said it at the start of the game. Are you still going to try this out on your own time?
I mean, I'd like to pick. I mean, the HeroesHearth YouTube channel needs some new hero picks. You let Jules know, right?
Yeah.
And Jules let me know.
Yeah.
So maybe Nova and Hanamura would be the responsible thing to do for me as a creator and partner for HeroesHearth. So I think it is responsible and good to do. There may not be a Merc Queen on the game, but that shouldn't stop me, right?
Nothing should stop you from playing Nova, and nothing should stop you at home from playing Nova as well. But we're going to go ahead and check out what map we're heading to next. It's going to be Towers of Doom, my personal favorite. It's going to be the map choice of Oxygen, as the side of Storm Esports has opted for first pick priority. getting into Towers of Doom. I would say, what's your expectation, Justin? But I don't know what we can even expect today from Storm Esports.
Yeah, not sure on the side of Storm Esports. This is another map where you can bust out the Sylvanas and theoretically the Nova, but I'm going to assume that they're going to go ahead and put that Nova back on the shelf for probably forever. So I'm not expecting them to play Nova again.
Maybe like Abathur Valera or something like that. That's great for this map.
Yeah. No, it's not bad. I would be more inclined to see Oxygen pick the Abathur, though, on this map. Oxygen really does love their Abathur comps, especially on this map. And when you have Nazmaz, Nazmaz is one of the few players who plays Samuro at a high enough level to make him viable. I do think that Samuro Abba is a really strong combination if you're good enough at it. I think it's one of the few things where it's so mechanically intensive that you really need someone who's a Samuro player, and Nazmaz, as far as I know, is the only one of those we have here in the CCL in Season 3 of the people who are really proficient enough on it that I would say that that's a real risk. And Oxygen's been playing comps like that for a long time, so opening up with the Dahaka ban kind of makes me think that that threat is on the table, so I wouldn't be totally surprised to see either some maybe like Sergeant Hammer comp or an Abathur comp coming out from Oxygen.
Well, if we go all the way back to Season 1 of CCL, we did see Oxygen run the very interesting Abathur Viking composition on Towers of Doom up against Sidestep Kings, and that was when Sidestep Kings were like, cool, we're going to grab a hammer and just sit in bottom lane. Good luck losing the map, and that quite literally was exactly how that map turned out. It was Sidestep Kings just sitting in bottom and really not losing out against the Viking Abathur push potential. We're through our bans here. Exciting bans. No Stukov for Heavy since the side of Storm did opt for first pick, and there is a Vala to come through. Nothing really crazy with this Grubby so far, but I want to get your thoughts on what we could expect here.
First Vala of the day. We should always be mindful of Stitches. I believe Red Robot showed a pretty darn good Stitches several times last season. Something to be considered. May not want to take it first. Might want to look at something like a solid Blaze or maybe a Vikings. What do you think about a Vikings? Just show that right away. Let people counter pick it.
I don't mind it at all. I think Vikings are the most broken characters in the game.
Here, amen.
You get 3 heroes. Everyone else is playing with 1 unless they're a Misha. So
did you see my balance idea for them?
I didn't.
Remove them? I didn't see it. What was it?
That's option number 2. Option number 1 would be every Viking soaks only 50% of XP for minions, unless when you have 2 together, then they soak the full 100%. And in return, you make them a bit better at teamfight, just so they're not so toxic in terms of macro.
Yeah, I don't think they're balanced. So Nazmaz, I would say Nazmaz is, although Liam performed well, I would say that he's the kind of the S+ tier. I would say that he's the most valuable offlaner we have in the CCL. And the reason for that is not only that is he good on the standard picks like the Blaze and Urel, but he plays the Vikings, he plays the Samuro, and that can enable a lot of draft diversity that drafting against Oxygen, especially on this map, I would not want to be doing it on the side of Storm Esports. Like you mentioned earlier, the Stitches, they didn't go for that. They instead go for this cheese with the Vikings, but there's the option for the Medivh Stitches, for example, because Draded plays Medivh, and there's the option for Samuro Abba, and there's the option for Vikings. They might even go Vikings Medivh. That's something that Oxygen's played in the past, so I still have no idea what the rest of Oxygen's comp is going to be, and I don't think Storm does either, so we'll have to find out with these next 2 picks, what they're leaning into.
Could you go Anurag Cho'Gall?
It's possible.
Wait.
Viking Cho'Gall.
It's been one day and we've got Grubby on the Cho'Gall train. I'm loving this. It didn't take long at all. Ooh, we will see a Cassia. It's not something we've seen very often because she was kind of nerfed a little bit. And then the Green God Thrall, I'm sure somewhere McIntyre knows. He's like, oh, they'll take the right talents, I swear. But last 2 picks coming out from the side of Storm. What are you expecting here, Justin?
Something on Oxygen real quick is Cassia. Sure. I'm going to expect that they're taking Cassia Thrall with the intention of stacking. I think that's why. So when you pick Vikings, you typically run a 4-man in one of the lanes, and you sort of just push a lane with 4 people, which warrants a large response from the opposite side. So Cassia, with the Q talent at level 1, she can get a lot of stacks in a 4-man like that. And Thrall, I think, not sure if McIntyre would approve, but Thrall, I'm expecting to go Crash. I would hope that he does go Crash, because that seems to be the strategy. And then they have Deckard, who has Blessings. Blessings with the 3 Vikings. Is really, really OP. I was going to mention that in the last game. They did a Nova Cheese on Storm, but they kind of did the wrong one because there's actually a really good Nova Cheese, but it's with Blessings. So feel free to play with that if you want. That's something that we never used.
Do decoys get full bonus damage from Ancient Blessings?
They sure do. And at level 20, you get the extra clones with the rewind. It's a really disgusting.
Clones?
Yes,
Wait,
and you can play
clones?
that. Yeah, and you can play that with Vikings as well if you want. There's a lot of fun things that can happen there. But the Johanna Zeratul, it's an okay response, but I don't think it's enough. I think Oxygen is probably going to just completely destroy Storm in this game. They seem really prepared. Their draft makes a lot of sense. If they lose, I think it's just Storm individually playing better. Zeratul, while it used to be a really good matchup into Vikings, now at level 16, Zeratul can actually just get stunned by Olaf and basically one shot. So I don't think the matchup's as good as it used to be, and I would definitely give this draft to Oxygen. They came prepared, I think.
Well, thank you, Justin, for the insight and analysis, and we'll see you after Towers of Doom, because we are loaded in, and on the side of the Raven Lord in the blue, we have got Oxygen Esports, who are already up in this best-of-5 series after winning our Volskaya Foundry map. Red Robot on the Anubrak, Mater on the Cassia, Draded on the Thrall, Hebi on the Deckard, Nasmus on the Olaf, Nasmus on the Eric, and Nasmus on the Baylog. On the side of the of the Gravekeeper, we have got Storm Esports in the red, BBJ on the Brightwing, CPX on the Vala, IBTings on the Zeratul, Lauber to play Joanna, and Rutso on the Falstad. I don't know why you're caught me so off guard, Grubby, but I want to get your thoughts as maybe you're a little pensive thinking about who could win this. I'm going to go for an Oxygen win. I like really what they draft, and I think there's so much control.
First time in CCL, Crash Lightning, I believe.
I should have looked at the first talents before I made a prediction, but no, it's... What do you think about this, though? I want to get your thoughts,
Okay.
Grubby.
Here's how I think Storm has to play this.
Okay.
Zeratul is going to be in one lane, Falstad in another. They're going to push the lanes, they're going to try to kill the Vikings. Sometimes they'll join together, they'll try to get some kills. Johanna Vala Brightwing is a pretty good defensive setup. Brightwing never runs out of mana in terms of healing. Constantly the AoE heals. And the Vala is going to stack... I thought it was going to be with multi-shot. That really surprises me. But anyway, Vala was going to stack in the defense. I think multi-shot would be better.
I would agree with you
But
on
anyway,
that.
you went for this. It's good into a Nubrak, I suppose. And Johanna has a good defensive tank that can help someone from getting blown up. So that's a 3-man defense. Zeratul Falstad will roam and try to get Vikings. And that's how Storm tries to play this. But I really thought it was going to be multi-shot so that you can value play for the late game as well with big AoE damages, which Deckard doesn't heal as much. And Zeratul Falstad can join in at a moment's notice to try and do a 5v4 and then quickly get back to it. So that's the plan for Storm, and they definitely have tools to win the late game. It can be repeated Falling Swords, it can be ranged Mosh Pit. Any team with Falstad, you can never count out. And IBTings is one of the better Zeratools. I'm not going to write him off until I see a little bit more. And he's got the better level 1 talent than we've usually seen. He's obviously up to playing some one-on-one deletion style. Also maybe helps that he's playing from NA server. European Zeratools wouldn't be able to play this, of course, as he is a very difficult character and ping matters. Now for Oxygen, it's just like Justin said. Full value quests with Crash Lightning, with the Valkyrie, with the Lightning Fury, Thunderstroke. And yeah, they're just going to try to get that. If Crash Lightning completes, it does double damage on the bounce, as on the original target. And normally the original damage is double off the bounce. So that's really impressive. It can be really debilitating to someone like Vala.
2 stacks on, said Crash Lightning. We'll see if Draded can work his way through these stacks, stepping into BBJ. And Lightning Furies will be connecting from Madara as well. 10 stacks on that level 1. Burrow Charge onto this Joanna. There's going to be an Iron Skin popped. We will see BBJ getting CC'd by the Impale, but now Red Robot's the one who's being threatened, and a Phase Shift will connect onto CPX. Looking at that level 1 for CPX, and just thinking about the way that he typically plays some of the heroes, like Tracer, I feel like this is very much into his playstyle with the scaling auto attack build with the Creed of the Hunter, but we'll have to see how much value CPX can get as the game progresses, and if he can survive and not lose any of those Gambit Mortgage loan stacks from said level 1, as Thrall finds a little bit more value with this Crash Lightning, and another Viking will fall, but as long as you're not losing all 3 Vikings, I think you're sitting in a pretty good spot. Yeah,
I think Yeah, I always pick Falstad if TLV gets picked early. It's one of the best counters. And Zeratul is right up there as well. So I like that they've got those two. I think they do have the tools to deal with it. And rather than pushing 1-1-3, which is also a good way, also for Storm League if you're against Vikings, take two bruisers that can push hard, like Gaslo, Sonya, and go 1-1-3 with a good range carry, hyper carry defender. And that works. And now you do see that 1-1-3 split by Storm. But bringing Falstad Zeratul together from time to time, getting some kills, has been nice so far. But TLV don't shine at level 1 to 10. They're going to shine at 13 plus and at 16 plus.
A little bit of a too early burrow charge cancellation there, but it doesn't matter as Draded has the root. And Vala, she's fine. She's actually going to vault forward. Falstad flies into bottom lane. Draded really being threatened, and that's going to be first full blood per se for the side of Storm as they are having a strong start to Towers of Doom. Red Robot's going to be taking a lot of damage and does go down as well. A secondary kill, and just to note, that Zeratul finishes out his level 1 questing talent, so he will be able to have the cooldown reduction on Blink by 1.5 seconds per basic attack.
Yep, that's more than 3 globes a second. That's been really good. A lot of roaming between the different lanes. Also a nice 5-man collapse again by Storm. You need to build up a big buffer of advantage. Despite the 3 kills, the XP is just out of this world, right? Like what Vikings can do. If we look at the XP contribution for everyone, Vikings 7.7k, Zeratul 5.3, Falstad 3.7. So it's pretty big rubber band that Vikings offer you even when you're losing heroes.
They really need to rubber band back a little bit on the side of Oxygen because that gap is starting to form still for Storm Esports with those couple kills. And if the kills continue into late game, that'll mitigate any sort of Viking split value. But seems like the objective phase will be traded out. 10 Talontier arriving first for Storm Esports. Lauber condemning the enemy team. Another Viking will fall to the Zeratul in top lane. And we'll see Baylog being rotated up there with Olaf still kind of holding mid lane. But let's go ahead and take a look, Grubby, at that fight in bottom lane.
We have that big 5-man collapse coming by Storm. Thrall was already kind of caught by Lauber there with that big slow. And we have Anubarak getting taken down. Actually, a lot of damage coming in on the Anubarak from the CPX auto attack talent. He vaults forward, Death Dealer, boom, 500 damage. And Zeratul Falstad, sticky as heck. Is he gonna go in? Yes, and then out. Wait, how? Oh yeah. Is that Wormhole? Yeah. So you double blink forward, then you dash forward with the Vorpal on the Nubarak, and then Wormhole. Nice, actually making the Cocoon go to a safer location, blinking away first. Does he still have a cooldown though?
Bless, oh, not Bless Shield, excuse me. The Stay While and Listen comes out. Lauber very low. Lauber is going to be able to back away, pop in the Iron Skin as CPX needs to vault away, but the Earthquake still having a proc or two more as Anubarak and Wave step forward into the bottom lane fort. That right there, that kill onto Brightwing through the Cocoon was huge, but now Zeratul gets dove on, and the Chain CC, the Pain Train from the side of Oxygen, is really starting to show its face.
And it's all good when you're getting kills against the Vikings team. They're worth half as much as against non-Vikings team because of the soak and the investment you make to group up. As soon as you start losing players against Viking team, it gets worse and worse. And I'm actually impressed with Storm still to be in this position of XP, but this objective is out of their reach. Bottom fort has been controlled against them. I'm going to try to take it back. But this takes a lot of wind out of their sails. That's what Vikings are good at, sailing.
That was good. That was good. I like that one. Because Longboat Raid chat. If anyone doesn't get it, it's Longboat Raid. Because it's a boat.
Oh yeah.
And level 10.
That's true.
Yeah. Anyways, it's play again for the Vikings in this game. No Longboat Raid. And let's talk about the control of this map right now, because this is exactly... Ooh, wait, hold on. Bless Shield.
Bless Shield, Polymorph, Rain of Vengeance misses. And that actually makes Red Robot get away.
3 sappers are still available in bottom. That's a gust that doesn't do a ton. It buys a window to start clearing some of these sappers. I guess that is what it does gain the side for Storm. But this is what I wanted to ask you, Grubby. This is everything Oxygen wants right here, right? They have control of bottom lane, and they've got Vikings in the other 2 lanes with Nazmus kind of floating around, able to kind of poke and be a ward with this Eric. How does Storm start to bring this back? What do they need to do? Is it a kill on Anubarak?
Yeah, I mean, At this point, you start getting worse and worse options. The 5-man was already attempted and failed. And now they need to go back in there. But remember how at level 1 to 7, Zalstad, Zeratul, Falstad were roaming with impunity, killing Vikings? They're not as happy to do that now anymore. That's because hero kills and togetherness matters more and more as the game goes on. You've got CPX and IBTings trying to get Olaf, but he's got that bonus health. They get one Olaf, even as their sappers get stolen, it's not worth it anymore. This is why Vikings shine at this time. And now look at this, Ancient Blessings. Ancient Blessings gives a bonus auto attack damage of 103 and healing, and that counts for every hero, including Vikings. He's gonna turn that on. It's gonna look like a kind of glow. I asked chat, if you're not super experienced at watching HoTS, to look for it when Deckard turns on that glow. If the Vikings are near him, if his heroes are near him, there's going to be a lot of extra auto attack, splash damage, plus healing for everyone affected. It's very strong. Also to note, Ancient Blessings has a 45-second cooldown, so a very low cooldown onto that one. Brightwing will get hit with the cocoon. Ball Lightning comes in, and that's a good dive onto CPX. He will be falling. Shots will rain in from the objective phase, and Storm Esports need to retreat as the sappers. I don't think they went over the went through the bottom lane. It was close though. At this point, it's full control for TLV. XP difference doesn't look big, but the fact that that forward stands full HP for so long is basically Storm, like, they can't really make a play anymore because everything takes too much time into TLV. That's why this character is so broken. Bosses. And Nasmas is playing it really well because it's not easy to keep enough Vikings alive against Falstad hunting. And he lost a few now and then, but it's never been too much. Invade onto the boss is being attempted. Lobber steps in. Nasmus very low on the Balog and does go down. Could use the play again to bring those Vikings back, and he will be doing that. Nasmus brings in 3 Vikings, and the Ancient Blessings was used as well by the Deckard Cain. Big Soothing Mist from BBJ. Lobber very low. Rutso is backing away at full HP. Throws a hammering out to try and poke at the enemy team. Dreaded is going to get shut down by the Zeratul. Ball Lightning comes out, and Zeratul has to blink away doubling up on that blink with the Might of the Nerazim. Here is another cocoon onto BBJ, but the Bless Shield will be ripped by Lobber, pulling in Cassia, and this is exactly what Storm Esports needed. They're going to be able to find a double kill, but no! Rutsu is... Wait, what? I thought Nasmus had that kill. Yeah. He turned on his... wait, what's that? Yeah, he has the Nordic attack squad. When they're all together, goes in, big hits on Falstad. Falstad dropped damn near dead. 100 health. Isn't Falstad dead? Was asked, and Brightwing was like, nah, man, BBJ, I got you. Goes in with the blink heal, turn around on the Vikings. That's all 3 dead. Just when I was ready to write them off, just when I was crafting the story that way, Storm Esports does what is required. Can they keep it up? Crash Lightning, 15 out of 30. There goes a channel, number 1 for Storm Esports. They're going to try to fight for the second one, but this is a notoriously difficult spot to push into. The longer that Storm stays here, they're also feeding a lot of free stacks to Thrall out for that Crash Lightning level 1. It's at 16 right now, but since there's no minions to really pull the Lightning bounce to, this is going to be Thrall getting a few extra stacks around there. And so not only is it a hard invade for Storm Esports, but they don't want to give free scaling to Dreaded because, as you were noting at the start, once you finish out that Crash Lightning, the push potential, the aggression from Dreaded is going to be very high with those Chain Lightning bounces, prioritizing heroes over bouncing to whatever's closest to said hero initially being cast. Looks like we have take a look at that replay, moment again in that replay of the mid fight momentarily. Okay, so how did Falstad stay alive? Nasmas is going to flank around from the south side again. First there's that big fight on the boss. Nasmas staying kind of safe. With a cocoon on Brightwing. CPX actually moving really well. I've been impressed with him. Now they try to go get the Cassia. Finally, Hammerang hits. Rutso missed the Hammerang on the previous target. That's why they got away, but he got that one. He barrels forward. Nasmas goes for him. And then he gets... I think there was a blind from Lobber, probably, what kept Falstad alive. Critical missed. Soothing Mist heals allies for 300 and some, it scales, but I saw that it? I saw the Soothing Mist used, and that's when Falstad's health jumped up, so I'm pretty sure, and there might have been a shield glare from Lobber in there as well, but that Soothing Mist, BBJ with the big play, as always, and a Balog does die in top, but there's 2 Vikings hanging out in mid defending this fort to make sure it's not converted. Double Altar Phase coming up. Is this the climb back into this best of 5 series from Storm, or will Oxygen shut down this next objective phase?
you want to get into some comms here, Grubby?
Yeah, let's go Oxygen.
Into Oxygen we go.
Watch the Zero to left side.
They might come right here.
Yeah, they're gonna flash shield me.
See if we can save him.
There's not much.
Anything?
I'm on the Zero top. Kill him here.
Yeah.
Got him.
Oh, blinded.
Get out.
Yeah, we can back up.
Stall bottom maybe.
Oh, Zero got him. No, we just got back up. Okay. Nice, you're live. It's fine. They're probably just gonna take mid right now. We need to catch up on 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
Difficult. That fight middle really set up a chain of events.
Yeah, but we can come back.
Just getting people comfy behind my wall.
We have a big cushion of 26. Well, I mean, much less now, but
Yeah, I just can't die bottom right now. They might try to flank you.
Yeah, I'm
there are
watching.
stubs.
We do
They're just
something.
gonna take a camp.
There's a lot of mid XP if someone can catch it.
Yeah, I'll go grab it.
Yeah, a lot of people were top.
Yeah, try to
They are
get mid.
I love hearing, even though they're behind on the side of Oxygen, they're people comfy. They're like, okay, it's okay. We're losing, but they're not getting in their head about it. The team is staying positive, and that is such a critical thing with this Viking comp, down 2 levels and 6 kills.
Yeah, it is. And I know those words, we can still win, but usually when I say them in a moment like this, they don't sound like I mean them. But I actually believed it this time. Like when they said it, I believed that they believed. So that's good. That's true confidence and reliance on each other and optimism. It's great.
So the gap to 20 is still a level. Our next objective phase will be top left and right. We'll see that in a little bit. Bottom left bell tower has been converted to the side of Storm, and this is our red team rotating down, trying to control bottom lane and maybe feed in 3 sappers to equalize the core HP. Meanwhile, in top lane, Nasmus does get the camp up there, and for anyone wondering, the stacks on Draded is going to be 18 out of the 30, but he also has this Thunderstorm at level 16, so if or when Crash Lightning is finished, that Thunderstorm value, big in my opinion.
Will it though?
Yeah, it's hard to say. It's real. I mean, honestly, like I meme about a lot of things and all that, but like I feel like Crash Lightning, it's just such a hard talent to finish. Lots of value, Grubby. Really hard to finish.
I usually complete it right when we win or lose the game.
Isn't that the truth though? Honestly, that feels very much like the truth.
Which one's harder, this one or Zagara Pod?
Oh, I think this one.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I mean, it also depends on the enemy you're playing against, if they're clumping up a lot and stuff like that. Because if everyone spreads, then both of these talents are very hard. But nice delay from Storm Esports around this objective phase, while the core of Oxygen sits at 11 from that first few tower shots. Lauber just continually delaying out, does have that Zealous Glare from level 1 for the extra charge. So more and more delay as Rutso also picks up his 90-second stack on Gathering Storm.
Crash Lightning +1 stack. 92 stacks on Hammerang, make that 95. Everything's has been doing pretty good, man. He's top damage in the game. Sorry, not everything's Vala, CPX. Top damage in the game, only died once. I will hereby validate his level 1 pick.
What if he loses right here and now?
It will be my fault.
All right, well, at least
invalidated.
At least we're being honest about it. But Lauber, I think, has stayed as long as he possibly can to delay this objective phase out. Question to you, Grubby: was this delay actually in the benefit to Oxygen because they could still split soak with the Vikings, or was this a benefit to Storm?
I think they wanted to force Brightwing away from bot forward.
Okay.
If they can do enough damage on Johanna and make Storm wonder, could she die? Could she die? Then Brightwing sees, then Balog gets the clear out bot. And this is what Storm did well by not dropping low, not even making your Brightwing insecure. Therefore, BBJ could stay. Therefore, it was not worth for Oxygen. But it is because Storm did it right. Good question, and I think it could have gone either way.
We have clear through the bottom lane attempted onto these 3 sappers that are working their way up. There is going to be a minion wave to delay things out. Currently, have Nasmus being pushed, having damage dumped into him. Yeah, there's just so much to be thrown out. Earthquake from the Throw Blast, shield from the Johanna. Big wind tunnel from the Falstad as he does get cocooned. Nubrak does have that Traitor King at level 20 for some bonus health and spell armor, and you also get some 75 armor for 4 seconds with a cooldown of 60 seconds. So Nice pickup for Red Robot for more sustainability in this dive-based hero. And Thrall continuing to poke out, has 23 stacks on that Crash Lightning. Falstad grabbing the camp on the right side. Eric, so swiftly, so bravely, pushing up the top lane, trying to grab a camp, but the fight breaks out once again. No, it's a disengage from Draded.
We have a Sapper camp captured by Ratso and Falstad. We have Vikings pushing 2 lanes. Ratso is going for Baylog. Doesn't really get him there. And now it's Storm actually in the lead pretty much. They've still got that forward. They're down 1 tower shot. I don't think Vikings are quite as good in an even leveled team fight. And it's actually 4% bonus damage and health for Storm because of that 1 level, the scaling 4%. So although there's no talent difference, it still matters. And I'm super impressed. They do have the draft for it, like I said at the beginning, but I'm super impressed that they actually managed to have few enough mistakes that it wouldn't spiral out of control against Vikings. That really important level 16 fight. Storm is leading, and I can't believe it.
Storm is bringing it back on Towers of Doom, but it's not over by any means. Falstad flying in. Oh, okay, maybe a little too far. Wind tunnel into the corner, that ranged mosh pit, as we like to call it. There's a blessed shield from the Joanna, and Thrall will fall. No stacking for him for the next 60 seconds, and we have 6 core HP remaining. Boss is up. Could be the play from Storm Esports, but no, they want to mitigate these Vikings. Nasmus is going to fall in mid. Nasmus may fall on top. No, Eric swiftly running away out of top lane, but here is the, this is the start on the boss, and this makes a lot of sense from our Storm Esports crew.
Okay, question, right? Is this worth it? Because usually taking boss and then losing bot forward is not worth it. On the other hand, there had been so much poke already on bottom forward, it was eventually going to die anyway, and maybe the thinking is, might as well die now rather than in a minute from now.
I agree with you, and the other thing too is the next objective is singular, and the boss sets you up for a win if you get the objective.
True.
Whereas this, if they didn't get boss on the side of Storm, then this would have just been 2 core HP or 1 core HP if
that's
Storm
true.
Can get this bottom lane bell tower back over. But here's the announcement of what could be the final altar of the game. Cassia is gonna get annihilated. Well played from CPX.
Yeah, everybody. It's just, what a deletion. They saw Cassia, they calculated, they did the monster math, they said, that is just slightly too far forward, sir. And if we look at the death recap, I'm checking it, and yeah, she did indeed die.
I wasn't sure. Earthquake from Thrall will be coming out. He's going to be taking a lot of damage as a cocoon onto the Brightwing. Draded needs to back away. There's a wind tunnel from the Falstad pushing the enemy team away. The Earthquake still getting some procs here and there. That Earthen Shield at level 20. The channel from BBJ is happening. The zoning is too good. BBJ is not going to get the finalized channel because Nasmus comes in for the flank. Red Robot taking a lot of damage. Stay a while and listen to tell the enemy team a story. They also have that Respect the Elders for the silence after the... Silence and blind after the stay while and listen ends, but just CPX is putting so much pressure. Lobber steps in, Thrall falls, so does Deckard Cain. Red Robot trying to back away. IBTings wants another kill on his stat board and will be able to get it. BBJ goes for the channel, and ladies and gentlemen, it ain't a 3-0 day. It's going to be Storm Esports putting one up on the board as well. We head into an even series. GG, well played.
GG, well played. Now, Baha, without looking, does Vala have over 100k damage or under?
Oh, easily over 100 with CPX. I'm gonna stare at the ceiling so I don't accidentally look at the stat.
You are right. Very impressively, Vala with 106,000 damage, 6 kills, only 1 death. This is CPX. He was benched mostly in the last season. Played about 2 to 3 times. Looked really good on Medivh, and then I think he had that one series where they did just win, and not just with Medivh. Because there was a series where he won one with Medivh but lost the rest. I think he looked really natural here, and I saw that they kept him for this season, and it's really cool to see him kind of popping off here against a really good team. Both teams played really well. One of the most close games so far.
I'm very impressed with Storm Esports turning things around right there. Got to get Justing back into the mix and find out your thoughts on this last Towers of Doom map.
I loved it. I always love to see Vikings lose. I despise playing against Vikings, especially on this map. I've had to ban it against Oxygen before on this map. I really, really am proud of Storm for being able to keep a strong mental when they were down at the beginning. Just having to watch as they pushed in bottom, and they had an initial engage bot that was pretty good, but then after that there was a big long window where They failed a couple engages on them bottom, and every time you send the Zeratul and Falstad, force that engage in the bot lane, if it fails, you lose so much because Eric and Baylog, it's just, they're soaking so much in the top 2 lanes. So it's a big commitment to go for those engages, and when they fail, it feels so bad on the side of Storm. But something I do really like is that Ibtings pivoted into the Might of the Nerazim build on Zeratul, kind of the Cure build. I really like that. You would think, oh, I'm Zeratul, there's 3 Vikings, Q build must be good here, but it's not. It's kind of a bait. I really prefer that he went with this. I think he got a lot more value. CPX played really well, even without the amount of support that you typically want on a Vala. He still managed to do a ton of damage and just played really safe. CPX really popped off this game. Something that Legacy had noted in the interview is that they weren't really a big fan of Brightwing with Vala as the solo support, and CPX seemed like he didn't seem to mind, so he just really was playing well with it. And honestly, Storm's engages were just too crisp for Oxygen to deal with. The Deckard isn't able to save people from the one-shots, and they were so coordinated with their engages. The heroes on Oxygen, when they would just die in an instant, there was no time to react, there's nothing a Deckard can do. And it really all came down to that one tipping point at the boss, where Oxygen really didn't need to take that boss. As soon as they lose the fight at boss, all their momentum, everything that they had worked for up until that point was kind of lost. And then they're kind of just playing from the back foot permanently. And I really... Storm's engages were very crisp, and they took full advantage of any mistakes that Oxygen made. I think Oxygen's comp was better, but Storm just outplayed them in the end.
I think that's an important factor, as you noted. When you're going up against these Vikings, the momentum shift, if you can get one like the side of Storm Esports was able to do around that boss, keeping your foot on the gas, per se, for the analogy, just making sure that you do not alleviate the pressure. And I think that was a really good play from Storm Esports just in the latter half of that map. Once they found a window, an opportunity to start reeling things back in, Storm Esports never let that go. So really congratulations to Storm for kind of bringing back that map, because I wouldn't say it was doomed and it was going to Oxygen, but for the earlier portions of Towers of Doom, it was looking like an Oxygen victory. But I'm glad our series will be sitting at 1-1. And with that, we are going to take a little bit of a break. We're going to go ahead and let these players get ready for our third map. The series is not over by any means. It's a best of 5, so we could be seeing 3 more maps, but we're going to take a little bit of a break. In that break, I encourage you to hit ! prize pool. We do have a prize pool for HeroesCCL, and we always appreciate all the support. We are at 2,260 because of your support. So thank you all at home for donating towards the prize pool. If you'd like to check out that Matcherino ! Prize pool to get you over there. And if you'd like to donate, we always very much appreciate it. But as I said, we're going to take a short little break, and we'll be back with map number 3, Oxygen Esports versus Storm Esports. We'll see you very soon for HeroesCCL, presented by Wisdom. Welcome back to HeroesCCL, presented by Wisdom, and happy Halloween to all of you who enjoy the best holiday of the year. We are getting ready to get into our third map of the day. My name is Bahamut, and I'm joined by Grubby and Justing for this adventure today. Right now, Oxygen and Storm Esports sit 1-1 in our best of 5 series. Things are heating up as we're getting ready to get into this third map. Super excited to see where we're going to be heading into and what the draft priority could be, as we've had a little bit of interesting choices in that map number 1, but this is going to be a Battlefield of Eternity map chosen by the side of Storm Esports. That is the losing team choice, meaning that Oxygen will have first pick priority. And for anyone wondering, Sky Temple was banned out by the side of Oxygen, Dragonshire banned out by the side of Storm Esports. It's been a fun day of games so far, Grubby, but I want to know, what's the best part about this series so far for you? Is it the Nova? Because it is for me.
It's that it's close. Yeah, definitely. I think that's the second best part, but that is close. We are 1-1. Second match was really close. Vikings lost. Gotcha, Gasm. I mean, that's really good. And the way in which. I think these are 2 very evenly matched teams, kind of as expected, 2 teams that have barely changed their roster from last season. So I think we've all whetted our appetite for a great third map coming up.
This has been really fun, and I want to get your thoughts, Justin. What's your expectation for these teams getting into Battlefield of Eternity?
So it feels sort of like Oxygen. So it feels sort of like Oxygen is a little bit more prepared coming into these games in terms of draft, but it kind of, in the last game, sort of just got outplayed, and they made a big mistake when they sort of threw on the boss. That was a bit of an error. It kind of just, you could hear it in the comms too. Nazmaz said, like, wow, like, look at everything that has come from this, like, it's all snowballing on itself. But they kind of, it really feels like Storm is just better mechanically. Like the first game might have been a bit of a fluke with the Nova Sylv comp maybe not working out and Oxygen coming in super prepared on the map. I know Storm is a team that historically hasn't been the best macro team, but they basically win every single team fight against every team. That's kind of been their game plan and their strategy, which I think is part of the reason why they maybe didn't match up so well into Simplicity in the previous season, because Simplicity was a team that kind of just played the map more. They played macro. They didn't allow you to take those 5v5 fights, whereas I think that's where Storm is strongest. So I think a map like Battlefield here is really good for Storm. I think that Oxygen might be a little bit out of steam after that, because it takes a lot to play a game like that, come in prepared, come in confident, and just get kind of hit and run into a brick wall of Storm. So we'll see how this draft plays out, but I'm leaning heavily towards Storm almost no matter what they pick. I think they've got the momentum after that game.
No, I absolutely agree. Wanted to get your thoughts, Grubby, on the Junkrat ban for Battlefield. What's the priority for this?
There's too many bushes to check usually. And those traps in bushes paired up with stuns, an initial stun from a boss, he's just way too good, and it's terrible to play tank into him. It pretty much forces you to play Janna Minesweeper, and you don't always want to do that. That may not always be the right call, especially on a map like this. So Blaze and Uberak, a rock-solid front line with loads of stuns coming in. They're going to try to abuse Brightwing's lack of a cleanse grace period. Has a singular cleanse, but no grace period. That means you can hit someone with a stun and follow up half a second later, and it's actually going to work, even if one of them got cleansed. It's unlike other healers.
It's been, it's also been a very interesting draft as well with the Hanzo and the Dahaka. How are you feeling about either of these drafts?
I think. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Them not picking their support early, I've kind of expected them to get punished on the side of Oxygen, and Dahaka has been something that's been banned pretty much almost in all the games. This is the one map that he kind of gets through. So Oxygen's draft is looking strong, but also a little bit weird that they picked double globals on BOE. I kind of feel like Storm is just kind of running away with it on all fronts, like the mind games, I think.
Okay. What do you think, Grubby? Because I know you got thoughts as well into this.
Well, we have the two primary pokers, Li Ming and Hanzo, so both teams can pretty much finish off immortals that have dropped low enough. They can kind of break stalemates with some of that poke, so that's lovely to see. Malf is a nice follow-up to the tanks. One flex from CPX, could be Nova again. On the other hand, we've got a tank choice. Don't think it's going to be Stitches. Maybe Garrus or ETC could work. Not too much gapping. Oh, Mei. Okay, to kind of absorb that big stun front line.
Triple global, though, Justin, for the side of Oxygen?
Yeah, it's pretty weird. I kind of think a Tracer might be the pick for CPX here. I don't really understand the triple global on BOE. It does seem pretty weird. It's definitely not the normal thing to do. So I don't know if they're going to have some very strange strategy with this. CPX, I know, likes Tracer a lot, though, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they go with here.
I think
find out.
It could.
There it is. Yeah,
it's a really good call, Justin. I absolutely agree. It plays into the CPX play style. It works well for the Immortal race. You have a lot of ability to dive into the backline, harass the Brightwing and the Hanzo. Things are looking really good for Storm. I'd be leaning in for them to win this Battlefield of Eternity map. But Justin, before we load in, I want to get your thoughts and even a prediction.
So I don't really understand Oxygen's idea, what they're planning to do with the triple global here on BOE. It's not really the map that you typically see that. And on the side of Storm, I think getting Blaze and Uberak 1-2 is kind of insane. They made it so that the enemy team can't have Blaze when you pick an Uberak. An Uberak doesn't like that kind of extra form of support that the bunker can provide. You want a cocoon and then go for a one-shot. So getting the Blaze and the Dahaka is really strong, especially when you have dive on Tracer. And Tracer also pairs extremely well with the Malfurion. So I think overall just Storm's composition looks considerably better in my opinion.
I would absolutely agree. Like, it's just Storm's looking phenomenal right now, and they had that turnaround moment on Towers of Doom just now, and I think that, as you were saying, Justin, could be a bit of a kick in the shin for the side of Oxygen, and they'll have to be the ones to bring it back. But thank you, as always, Justin, for your analytics and your breakdowns. We'll see you after our Battlefield of Eternity map, because we are here on the left-hand side. In the blue, we got Oxygen Esports, Draded on the Falstad, Mater on the Hanzo, Nasmus playing the Dahaka, Red Robot on the Mei, and Heavy playing this right wing. Over in the red, we're looking at Storm Esports. We've got BBJ on the Malfurion, IBTings on the Blaze. We'll be seeing Retso on this Li Ming, Lauber playing the Anubarak, and CPX on the Tracer. Let's go ahead and check out what happens here in our first engagement through the bottom lane, as we were expecting to just see a big blow up. Right, Grubby?
Yeah, I think that's definitely possible. Let's see how it plays out. A small note, we do have a wrong mount for one of the players, but the teams have okayed it. So in case anyone sees like, hey, that's a banned mount, well, teams were fine with it. Remake was possible, but they're choosing to just have an expedited flow. Nobody minded too much in this particular game. Doesn't mean we should shame players that do want a remake for it in the future. They are the rules. Just happen to be chill this time. I was wondering, okay, I see Mei with the heat transfer talent, so I guess my theory is out the window. I was wondering, triple global on BOE, are they gonna take the Snowblind talent at level 4? Where you get the 3-second lockdown on enemy structures, and they're just gonna kind of do like some kind of weird split push, pseudo Sylvanas-esque style from Mei, but nah, it's not gonna be like that.
I do really like that build, actually. I've tested it around, I played around with it in some ARAMs as well, and just go full snowball build and just constantly have these blinds in the enemy side in the late game. But Red Robot trying to step in, Dahaka will brush stock into the flank position. Nasmus looking to grab someone, manages to get the drag onto BBJ. This very low Malfurion, he's trying to find a way out of here. That's gonna be right wing going down first. Malfurion traded out, healer for healer. Pulse Bomb connects onto Draded, but he's able to blink away, or excuse me, to barrel roll away. What a bloodbath here, Grubby, as this is 2 for 2 in this engagement, but the camp goes over to the side of Storm, and Nasmus drops to about 25. No, 30 HP.
That was so close. He was really daring to keep walking away because Orb gets more damage when you walk away. But if he hadn't, missiles would have hit him. So good job by both teams there. Really cool. You know, what I love the most about that engagement is Malfurion got licked by Dahaka and he was going to die. Pros are so good at recognizing when peel is useless, when you can't save somebody, that instead you should kill somebody else. And Storm did that. They knew BBJ is going to eventually die. Then they got the return kill on Brightwing and then on Mei. Really, really solid. So 2 for 2, 5-man squad from both teams. We can actually look at it one more time, Baha.
Yeah, we have that replay ready to go as the Immortals will be spawning into lanes, or into the map, as this is going to be Red Robot getting the phase shift. Big burrow charge from Anubarak. BBJ, as you were saying, peeled and trying to get away, but does go down. On that left side, you did see the Pulse Bomb connect onto Draded, and Red Robot so very low. CPX trying to get out, does go down. It is just absolute chaos as Lauber tried to find something into Mater or Nasmus, but as you had noted, Nasmus was able to get away, and that, oh my god, that Arcane Orb, I'm sure Nasmus was sweating more than you and I were on that one, but here comes the race between both these teams into our first Immortal phase, and it seems extremely close between the two, but we're about 1,000 difference in favor for the burn on the Storm Esports side.
Lauber doing some aggressive scouting, and he's trying to block big scatter arrows from Madara. He would, of course, give quest stacks if he does. Nice route there by BBJ saving Lauber, but I think BBJ might be dying. They're gonna, however, give up the entire Immortal for this. A totally worthwhile sacrifice by the Keeper of the Grove.
BBJ more like bye-bye Jay, but top lane.
Right?
Yeah, am I right? Immortal goes into top lane for the side of Storm Esports. BBJ has respawned, and Belith will start the push with Lauber and CPX. I always like to check this right now. Belith dealing 1,044 damage into structures and has a decent shield. A total HP, well, at this point, has a HP pool of about 10,000, but that's going to be quickly shredded as CPX has got the Pulse Bomb ready to go, chucks it onto Red Robot. Red Robot taps well, continuing to sustain for the friendly team. And it looks like Fort front gate goes down. Lobber throws an Impale, but I think this should be a disengage from Storm Esports.
CPX blinking forward, trying to do some cheeky stuff. Don't think he has a bomb yet. No, he's at 46%. Nasmas trading pretty well into IBTinks. Maybe even now a little bit of a structural advantage here for Storm Esports.
Trying to just make sure that they don't lose much on the side of Storm through this bottom lane. Dahaka pushing up the waves is going to get scouted out. Li Ming throws a combo into this Fort front gate. Rutso trying to continually open up the map. Oh my, the read from Dahaka with the burrow, but the phase shift from Brightwing comes through. The cleanse from Heavy will be utilized, and the drag from Nazmus will not connect. Falstad flies in the bottom lane. And I guess the biggest thing with this triple global composition is you have, if one person's threatened, like Nazmus, you have a quick rotation from Heavy and Draded to be able to fly or phase shift in. So maybe it's a response thing, Grubby, in the sense of Oxygen wants to be able to respond quickly to any sort of pressure Storm Esports applies in lane?
Yeah, sure seems that way, and it's kind of working out. They can go back pretty quickly once again. And what's more is, when you have a comp like this, you usually don't have the issue of we need to defend the Bruiser or Catapults after Keep is dead, and therefore we can't contest Immortal. You can usually do both because of having a global. So it is a very defensive way to play, where you are lessening any deficits that you have early on in terms of structures and lane pressure. It's a pretty neat way to play.
It is. It's an interesting adaptation. I'm starting to kind of see what Oxygen's going for, but we'll have to see if it actually pays out for Oxygen as Storm Esports continues to open up the bottom lane a little further. Dahaka's got some pressure up in that top lane, but Blaze is clearing things out, and CPX, Rutso, and friends immediately rush towards Alarian to start shredding through this Immortal. 10 talent tiers will be achieved on both sides soon, Grubby. What do you expect?
I'm expecting Madara, nothing else but Dragon Strike. It's gotta be two twisting pretzel dragons. If it's anything else, I'll be disappointed. Because why farm for level 20 with triple global if you're not gonna take having a heroic every 5 seconds like Hanzo can have? It's the dream.
It's a great zoning tool. If you can find some sort of drag that's like like Ice Wall into that. Oh, bummer, you know. Disappointment.
You could have like gust into. It's like, I'm gonna Dragon Strike the right side wall. Okay, right. Got it. 10-4. I'm gonna gust them into it. Dragons, pretzel. The pretzel hurts.
Or even then, you ice wall the enemy team and you dump that double pretzel dragon on top of the enemy side. They come out of the ice wall and they're just getting chunked for damage. I think there's a lot of synergy there, but what we're going to be seeing is going to be Dragon's Arrow from the Hanzo. We do have that being thrown. There's Ice Wall out from the Mei, and it seems like a lot of heroics will be used defensively. Drag will connect on to our Blaze. Everything's able to drop the bunker. CPX jumps in for a little extra armor. Nazmus trying to step out here. Gus from Falstad trying to save Madara, who gets the agility over the wall. Very good save from Draded. And this Immortal phase kind of stalled out with the Immortals on defensive siding. Though, I do have to note, we do have the Fallen Shamans in lane. Dahaka is showing, so Blaze will go and clear out his own.
Just non-stop damage being peppered by Rutso on everybody. Note that Red Robot went for that spell armor, because here it's like Chromie Liming really punishes Crystal, punishes that trait value. He's actually staying alive because of that. The 40 spell armor is quite nice into Rutso, because otherwise using ice armor is super risky.
Yeah, that cryo freeze, while it can buy some time, it can absolutely be bursted through, and you end up just standing still, healing, taking damage, kind of ending up at the exact same spot. But Rutso trying to poke in here with the help of Ivy Tings, and too many shots are being eaten up by the enemy side. I think Li Ming might be going to tap well. Yeah, she's just going to get a full bar of mana to make sure that she is ready to go for what is assumed to be a next big fight between both these teams, and Rutso gets chunked, but there's that healing over time still from the well available.
Always helpful. Brightwing, Dahaka coming from different places there. There's that spell armor once again, super useful. We have a cocoon on Hanzo. We're gonna hope that he's being left behind after a bit. There's the pulse bomb. It's gonna... Oh, the ice wall! Wait, he's stuck too! Madara in the ice wall! Red Robot hit an agent. I've never seen a blue hero get stuck in an ice wall just like that. He couldn't even pop out on any side. That was a perfect grief.
Oh, I didn't think CPX was going to get that kill on the left side of his screen, but that the bullets will travel over the gate somehow, some way. They go up around the gate and then hit the Mei, but this is going to be another Immortal phase to the side of Storm Esports. We talked about this getting into this game, Grubby, and I think you and Justin were very on point with your comments. Storm Esports, they built back massive momentum through Towers of Doom, and we are getting we're getting to see that here, and they're riding that high.
Yeah, exactly. They're playing real nice. Rutso is looking a lot better on the other heroes he's been on rather than Sylvanas as part of that cheese draft, perhaps. He wasn't fully emotionally on board with that first draft and kind of felt lackluster, so he played a little bit more loosely, aggressively. Now we have the 5-man invade on the Haka. The Haka survives this, right? It's the Haka. It's so stupid. He's even doing a counterattack.
Well, the friendly team's coming in. There's a gust into the wall. The fort is going to fall because Labra needs the tower shots to go away. Blaze pops the jet propulsion to save BBJ. He is going to utilize the Tranquility. Traded, getting very low, and the members of Storm are the ones who are going to come out on top of this. Nasmus was trying to do the great bait, and it's actually going to fall apart on the side of Oxygen. Can the members of Storm make it a triple kill? The Pulse Bomb doesn't connect. Red Robot with 300 HP, but the Polymorph dissuades CPX from stepping further forward. Can't deal a lot of damage when you're a squirrel, Grubby.
No, no, exactly. That's true. I think that's the truest thing I've ever heard.
Unless you're the squirrels who live in my neighborhood who drop pine cones from 80-foot trees. That does a lot of damage. Yeah, they chew on the pine cones, and then when they're done with them, they just kind of like drop them. And they hit the roof of my house, and it scares the ever-living crap out of me.
I see. Well, that's never happened to me, but that does sound scary. Does it scare Bandit too?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely, it does. We have days. We can talk about snow and pine cones a little bit later because we got a replay to look at for what just happened in the top lane. Grubby, this is insane.
Yeah, it was a pretty big cleanse attempt there by BBJ. He got only the isolation away, I think, not the arrow. But look at him staying alive. 10 armor, getting big 3-man Moonfire because he had a 3-man root. And Falstad super extended. CPS was like, you're not even looking at me. I just keep unloading into Falstad over and over and over. And they zoned so hard. They tunneled on the BBJ. And they had no reach on him. Falstad, he comes in bursts, If he gets counterattacked, he loses the level 13 advantage of Flowrider, and he doesn't have another Hammerang on time. Hanzo was way back, couldn't get there on time, and so it was too much tunnel vision on Malf. Big plays by BBJ with the root triple Moonfire. CPX got to play that completely for free. There was nothing left for him, and he killed the Falstad. But it was a nice attempt by Oxygen. It was a big arrow.
I love the setup, and I was actually watching back closely to CPX. If that Pulse Bomb had connected onto Mei, that would have been just enough damage to find the kill into her. But still, Storm Esports, they sit 6-3 in kills with 16 talent here, arriving in half a level. This is Storm Esports really riding a high, as they also have the 50% mark in favor. About, 5,000 HP in favor for Storm when it comes to race. This is looking really good for another Immortal to go over to our red team.
Yeah, just about that much. And Tracer blinks in quickly, hits it with the Pulse Bomb. 4,000 difference, 5,000. That should be a fairly comfortable victory for Storm. Although, they sent a few people to defend. It actually makes it kind of close. 2.5k lead. Storm grabs it. They have the small half-level lead. Keep in mind that this objective gives a chunk of XP to the winner of the objective, but still a smaller chunk to the loser, so it still helps to bridge the gap to level 16. And Oxygen could have the choice to give up the keep and to play for a very aggressive deep dive. It is possible. With the arrow with the gust, you can use the keep for defense.
Well, let's see if they're able to push in here. There's a little tunneling claw from the Dahaka to try and back away. Doesn't have that level 4 lurker strain for any of the 6 different things it does, but still, the keep is being assailed by this Immortal. Jet Propulsion from Blaze will connect onto Red Robot. Icewell comes out from Red Robot, but is more of a, wall than anything else, and this keep is going to drop to about 25%. Li Ming throws in a few magic missiles with that mirror ball value from level 16. I'm sorry, Grubby. There's no glass cannon Li Ming. I'm very sorry, my friend. It's Illusionist at 13.
Yeah, I knew when he went for the quote-unquote pro talent, at level 7 with Calamity. Didn't get those juicy zing missiles that get that satisfying sound when you hit it. But okay, it's fine. It's probably better. But for Storm League, I really stand by it. Glass cannon, full missiles at 7 and 16. Guess not in pro play, but it's all right. He's been doing okay. He has been doing okay. 42k damage by Li Ming. That's double what Tracer has. Ooh. It's more poke nature, of course, so that's normal. It's also a lot more than Hanzo has. 32k.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, really, really well played. I was looking at the Falstad really quickly as well. 45 stacks for Falstad, and his bonus damage is currently sitting at 37.5%. He also has that Boomerang at level 7 for the spell armor reduction, as well as the explosive damage being increased by 100%. So there's a lot of burst ability. But speaking of burst, Anubrak is trying to find his way into Dahaka. Nazmus gets hit with the Pulse Bomb, but he is fine. It's got the essence. And it looks like Storm Esports backs away, grabs a camp, and prepares for another Immortal phase. Grubby, we haven't heard from Storm yet in this best of 5 series. Would you like to jump into their comms and hear how they're getting along?
I thought you'd never ask. Let's go.
Into Storm we go.
You scared of fights though?
Nope.
No bomb.
Should clear hard camp though.
I'm hitting it. Yeah, let me charge a bomb off this.
Yeah. You have to, like, we can zone them from going here. If we, like, zone them from here, we can, like, maybe get the keep. Not sure how worth it is though.
I think we just want to set up and poke with Roots.
Okay, let's go
right now.
Oh, look at Hanzo. Force this D. Yeah, now we step up and start poking. Care for the arrows.
Yeah, I'm chilling.
They need Daka to clear bottom before they fight, so they were not gonna fight before he has cleared.
Grabbing no E can hit May a bit.
Yeah, just poke May. May poke is massive. I'm gonna cue the bush maybe. Look at May poke and bush.
Oh, that's low. That's low.
Okay, Falstad is low.
That's D. That's D.
Okay.
Or wait, no. What's that?
Falstad is healthy again.
Falstad is full HP again, but it's fine.
Did Brightwing D?
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
May no E.
Yeah. I'm looking for Hanzo. If he steps up IB, we can
Hey,
clap.
Daka Doug, fine.
Daka dog.
Fine.
Careful. Peel out. I got Isud.
Yeah, chilling.
Peel out. Can we peel out?
Yeah, that's Daka E.
Nice, good. Bot is gonna pressure now.
I'm
We can play it
tap
slow.
bot. Chill
Yep.
a sec. I need to tap.
I have slow bomb.
They have to clear bottom again, so they have to send one of their globals there.
Okay.
It's a catapult.
Might look on.
We're also getting 20 way faster.
I want to kill
Passive
Madara.
XP. Just keep poking May. If May is
me
poked,
for
they
heal.
can't. It's hard for them to engage.
Yeah.
They might go on roots here. Careful.
I have cleanse on. Both you.
Just throw in shit on the immortal. They're winning like this. They're forced to do something.
Yeah.
Just play it slow.
Might look for
Game is ours right now. If we don't fuck up.
Yeah.
I'm Falstad is bottom. I'm gonna go tap real quick. We can start
got
this
the
as well. We
half.
can one shot. Watch
Yeah.
out.
But also, you
That's
stop.
nice,
We
bud.
can see where the spawns are though.
It's defensive
fine.
spawn.
He's
Blaze
fine,
can
yeah,
grab
yeah.
top.
The hack in the bush. Can we go on him?
No.
The map control, the communication, everything is just jiving for the side of Storm Esports. I love the way that they are able to just watch everything. They're calling out what they're intending to do, where they're looking. Really, really good, clear, smart comms as IB Tinks is looking for some sort of jet propulsion, Grubby.
They'd be very happy to just let this last. Storm has top priority again. It's going to take a while to materialize. The arrow maybe saving May. They're going to try to do a bit of a play here. Cocoon does hit on Hanzo, though. He's going to maybe be left behind. There's an ice wall on the Nubrak. Tracer's going to be in a weird spot. He can actually blink over the ice wall. Of course he can. As Rutso peppers the backline with arcane orbs. Larber gets away. That was a huge scatter. That's all 6 scatter arrows. Let's see which heroics are available. Bunker, Wave of Force, and eventually Pulse Bomb. Bruiser Camp started from a distant nightmare and is now becoming a thundering bulldozer as it gets closer and closer to the keep. And Rutso starts pressing QW again until the Immortal says, peace out, I'm gone.
Dahaka brush stock into the back line. Tracer actually goes down. What?
Polymorph, scatter, and he's dead. Bunker for Malf.
BBJ okay for now. Madara trying to throw in the damage, but Madara gets the snipe into BBJ. Top lane keep did fall during all of this, and we heard in the comms Lauber saying, you know, and BBJ saying, we will get level 20 ahead of time, but oh, Rutso, can you make the outplay? No, Rutso is the one to get outplayed. Maybe here. Jet Propulsion from Blaze doesn't connect. There's going to be an icing in from Mei. IBTings does not have the bunker for 40-some seconds. Li Ming gets the blink over the wall. Is IBTings left to die? Pyromania is used, 40 armor. And this objective phase, this is the longest objective phase I think I've ever casted or even been a part of, Grubby.
What about level 15 first dragon? That's probably...
Oh, God, you're right. Yeah, actually.
On this map, though, it is damn
Yeah.
glacial. It's glacial.
Glacial?
Yeah, like glacial, really slow. You know how slow, like, icebergs move?
Oh, okay. Sorry,
Glacial pace.
Never had heard that terminology before, so it was just, okay, all right, I'll have to use that one in the future. But the big thing to note here, Grubby, is going to be Oxygen Esports winning this Immortal that deals nearly 2,000 damage into structures. Nearly. But the other factor in this, Oxygen's got to burst their way through a fort, a keep front gate, and a keep. I don't think this is game winning unless Storm Esports blunders massively.
Mighty Gus needs to be on the forefront of everybody's mind. That's a ranged mosh pit, alright. The usual side bush here being checked. This side bush is being used so often. Oh, Lauber with the burrow charge. He does have rewind though, does he have? He has rewind.
He should have
kind
it.
of misses.
Cocoon will connect onto Brightwing. There's going to be the flank wall. Oh my god.
Isolation!
Wind tunnel is massive right here. There's a drag onto Li Ming. Tracer's gonna go down. Malfurion will fall as well. IBTings is gonna try and back away, but it's gonna be a quad kill to the side of Oxygen. This is exactly what they needed to take this game. And Grubby, this will be Oxygen taking map number 3. I can't believe it.
I'm unexpected. It's massive. Like, what happened there? Okay, Lauber burrow charges in. He's got rewind. He doesn't use it to get away. Right? And then they go for him, and everyone kind of steps up to follow up on him, even though he didn't achieve anything. And then suddenly, boom, the Mighty Gust. Great positioning by Falstad. Out of sight, out of mind. Falstad comes in, gets the ranged mosh pit, Draded sets everyone up. Nazmas follows up with the contagion. 4-man silence. Like a spider, they whip them up in the ice wall of May that say, you guys will come out later out of this ice wall, still silence. Let's deal with the 2 that we have now. They blow up Rutso. And then the rest fell like a house of cards. Excellently deconstructed by Oxygen. Bit of a mistake by Lauber going forward like that. Maybe the team could have let him go. Maybe he could have rewinded and get back. They were not aware of the extreme danger that they found themselves in that moment. And Oxygen gratefully capitalized.
Everything going Storm Esports way throughout that battlefield map. And Lauber even said in comms, we win this so long as we just don't mess up, and that was the big blunder, right, Justin?
Yeah, that was the Draded difference in this game showing through. I was taking some notes during the game, and I had put down Draded trying his best on Falstad. Good gusts. Because it looked like they were just losing the whole game. Like, there was just little chips back and forth, just little chips on the Immortal by Rutso on the Li Ming. It felt like Oxygen was losing the macro even with the triple global comp on BOE. It was strange. The fights were lasting forever, which should kind of help Oxygen, but Storm was just getting the better of all these little tiny engages, while also having the offlane pressure in their favor as well for Storm, even against the globals. And it all just came down to that one moment where Draded just said, none of that stuff matters. Here's my 5-man wind tunnel into the wall, just perfectly placed. Got all of them. It's just insane by Draded.
When I play Falstad, that is what I that's what I dream about potentially doing. But this is the first fight of the game, Justin, and like this explosiveness kind of set the tone for me that we are gonna get into a very, very kill-heavy game. I just want to get your thoughts. How did this fight at the start of the game set the tone for you?
It was definitely surprising that the team that had the globals actually was coming out on top. Nazmaz just barely doesn't die there. But it was really surprising to me how close the fight was, because you're really expecting that Storm with no globals would just destroy them in a straight up 5v5, but that wasn't the case. And then in this clip here again, you have Draded just with insane gust flanks just over and over and over again. He does go down, but BBJ also looked a little bit uncomfortable this game, it felt like. Maybe Malf is something that he hasn't been playing too much recently. But I'd say BBJ looked a little bit uncomfortable, and CPX was also like trying his best, but it's really hard to play Tracer into the enemy composition. They're really tanky. It all just came down to the Draded difference though at the end. It was Draded earned this win for sure. That was a 1v5 play.
I'm actually curious, Grubby, coming out of this game, and we're talking about comfortability and who played the best. Who would you say is your MVP from this game? Because for me, it's Traded with that last gust. That is the game-winning play.
I think Rutso maybe could have been it if their team had won. Perhaps Rutso, but now it's got to go to Traded. There's, of course, a collection of small, unnoticeable moves that any player can do. That was the game-winning move, and at level 20, it only takes a single fight. Having triple global, you're almost always going to stall for 20, and I think that was the play here, even though it's weird on a small map like that. And it was always going to come down to those gusts. Either you hit him or you don't, 50-50, and he did.
Wow, it's crazy to see so much control, so much just, I wouldn't say passive play, but just calculated play from the side of Storm throughout that game. And then it all falls apart in one engagement. It shows that this isn't a game of just, all right, well, one team is dominating, they snowball the map, and it's like, GG, go next. No, there are opportunities to be able to reel things back in, and Oxygen showcasing that so very well in map number 3. And now Oxygen sits at the precipice of a 3-1 victory, but they have to win the next map to be able to do so. I don't think Storm Esports are out of this by any means, Justin. I think there's a fire lit for Storm Esports now, getting ready for this 4th map.
Yeah, I agree. That game, they have to feel a little bit robbed at the end of that game. It's got to be a bit disheartening for them to be feeling like they're in this winning position the whole game. They were even winning on the side lanes without any globals against 3 globals. So they were controlling pretty much the entire game from start to finish. There was a couple mistakes where maybe BBJ or CPX made a little bit of a little death here or there, but it all just came down to that foul stat. And I agree with Grubby as well, how he said that Rutso might be the MVP for him. I had Storm won the game like it was looking like it was going to be for 99% of the game, then Rutso would have absolutely been the MVP. He was just consistently just pumping out damage, hitting all his combos, but just Traded. I don't know.
Yeah,
he's too powerful.
And that's not an easy thing to do on the side of the Li Ming play. Finding those angles for the arcane orbs and the magic missiles, there's a lot of things that can get in the way of just being able to try and make those skill shots and that burst ability happen. So good read from both sides, but let's find out where we're going to go to for map number 4. This is going to be the map choice of Oxygen Esports, as Storm Esports opted for first pick priority as the losing team. So Oxygen taking us to another big macro map. Do you think this is a bad idea, Grubby?
Well, let's see. It looks okay actually. They've won one macro map, they've lost one macro map, and then they won the small map. I think it's totally fine. I mean, I think they're quite good at maps like this. This is where we used to want to see them. Yep.
It just that the Towers of Doom game felt like a little bit of a misstep or a hiccup on the Oxygen side, so I wasn't sure if they might be afraid to potentially come back to a massive macro map, or maybe this is me over kind of analyzing what their mental state could be. And I'm sure Justin,
I was looking at the map picks, not the map wins. So yeah, you're right. They only won the small map, right? I think it's fine. Like every map works out differently.
Do you think, Justin, that this is going to be kind of a redeeming map for Oxygen? They're going to come back into this and be like, okay, Towers of Doom, that's a fluke. We play the best macro.
I'd like to see them do that. It does seem like in general they have had better macro than Storm. Storm historically hasn't been a macro-based team, whereas Oxygen is a much more methodical macro-based team comp. Like they come in with a weird team composition strategy for the map. So I think on a big map like this, it definitely helps them more, especially with Nazmaz. They have the option of the Samuro, Abathur. They have the option of the Vikings. Maybe they just don't pick the Vikings so early. I think that even though Storm won the game against the Vikings, they are all going to be remembering the early game where had Oxygen not lit up the foot on the gas at all, with where they kind of threw at boss on that map on Towers of Doom. Had that not happened, Storm was having very, very little fun up until that point. So yeah, you can tell that even though they won against the Vikings, they do not want to play against it again. But unfortunately for them, that's not all Oxygen has. There's Abathur, Samuro. They have a lot of compositions that they can still play here on the side of Oxygen on a big map.
if memory serves correct, in the latter half of CCL Season 2, was it not Storm Esports that pretty much speed ran Cursed Hollow anytime they went there? I feel like we had like 2 to 3 weeks in a row where Storm Esports just annihilated this map like sub 10 minutes. Or am I thinking of 30K? Do you remember, Grubby?
No, I don't remember.
Okay, I'm sure someone in chat definitely remembers, but I swear that it was in the past Storm who really, really dominated on this map, and so that was one of the things I was considering. As we had mentioned at the start of this Best of 5 series, both of these teams, I believe, only picked up one new player, and Rutso being one of the new ones for the side of Storm and is being played today, Pirate Rum on the side of Oxygen, who is currently on the bench. And realistically, Oxygen, they're not playing bad by any means, so I like the direction they're heading in, keeping this 5-man in our Best of 5 series. But that's a lot of global start here, Justin.
Yeah, every team just doing their best to pick up all the globals they can possibly get. Oxygen could still go the ETC with the stage dive. That's the only one that is pretty much left that's viable, that's going to really make a big difference here. Storm could potentially go into some Abathur comp of some kind. Abathur Dahaka is not bad. And with what they picked right now, they actually have a pretty good setup for it. They also have a pretty good setup for Cho'Gall, so unless Lauber is really confident that they can win this game and then bust out the Cho'Gall in Game 5, this would be where they would theoretically need to pick it. But they do have a setup for something, pretty much anything at this point, with Lucio, Junkrat, and Dahaka. It does look a little bit like it could be some Abathur thing to me. But knowing Rutso, it could also be Zarya. There's a lot of different ways that Storm could go here.
What are you thinking about this draft here, Grubby? I want to get your thoughts as we're getting into a ban phase.
I think Zarya Garrus is possible, but then Junkrat feels a little out of sync with that in that he's not a hyper carry, really. Though we have seen some hyper carry Junkrat last season, a few times, where he's the main and sole damage dealer, and I guess Zarya helps a bit. It is possible, but I think it's better to grab Burst when you're against Sylvanas, not Layers of Protection, because she has 2 modes. She has a team fight mode where she's almost as good as like top assassins, and then she has the pushing mode. And going double support against Alstad Brightwing, Anubrak Sylph, who have so much raw push and side pressure, I think it's risky. Sometimes it happens to be the right answer. You're like, yeah, we're just going to stay put in this lane, but I don't think it's the right call. We're going to see the Maiev coming out of Rutso. I like that. Kind of try to catch people when they push too hard.
Also, could see a containment disc, actually, for the Maiev as well to answer the Anubrak, but we get a Blaze last pick, and Justing, as we're loading into Cursed Hollow, and players are doing some hero swaps in the next 14 seconds. What are your thoughts on the draft? Who do you think might take this? Is this a 3-1 Oxygen, or does Storm take us to a map number 5?
I think that Oxygen's draft looks better to me, but Storm, you can't count them out. Even though they lost the last game, they were kind of in control of it for most of it. So I really, on draft alone, it's hard to say. I will say it is a little bit difficult to run Junkrat as your only ranged. They don't really have a good way to deal with tanks, so the Blaze on the enemy side especially is going to kind of just get to do whatever he wants. That being said, they might not necessarily win through team fights. They have the Dahaka, which is probably the superior global on Cursed Hollow. And Rutso is really good at Maiev, so the Maiev buffs coming in are going to be pretty good for him. A lot of people maybe didn't get to see that before, but Rutso is one of the better Maievs we have in the CCL.
All right, so it sounds like you're calling for a 30k win, right?
Oxygen, slightly. But
okay,
it could go to Game 5. We need the Cho'Gall, so it actually has to go to Game 5 if you think about it.
You are correct, because Lauber did promise me a Cho'Gall through Twitter this week, so we'll see you after map number 4. Cursed Hollow here, Justin. Thank you for your breakdown as always, but we are into our map of Cursed Hollow, with Oxygen Esports on the left-hand side, Nasmus on the Blaze, Red Robot on the Anubrak, Draded playing the Falstead, Heavy on the Brightwing, Madara to play Sylvanas. Over in the red, trying to continue this best of 5 series through Cursed Hollow, Storm Esports, Lauber on the Muradin, Ibitings on the Dahaka, BBJ playing the Lucio, CPX on the Junkrat, and Rutso on the Maiev. I am going to just blindly say I want a Game 5, Grubby, so I'm going to vote for Storm. That is where my thought and my breakdown lies. What do you think of this matchup and map?
Yeah, I think it's 2 really powerful drafts. I couldn't say. I think it's 50-50. It's going to be down to the level of play and execution, which is a great place to be in when watching.
I honestly, the games today, out of all the best of fives we've had, I think this. It's hard to say because actually yesterday's matchup of what was it, Simplicity versus Diamond Hands, that was such a good game as well. So this one's rivaling it. This best of five is definitely rivaling the second best of five from yesterday. But just trying to think of like when I tell my friends like, "Ooh, which is the map? Which is the series to watch?" This one might be up there when it comes to rewatchability for me.
Yeah, it's been really good, and Lauber's just waiting here to try and gank the Falstad. I think Red Robot just got vision of him. They find each other. Overall, I like Muradin as a tank into a Nubarak. He's very sturdy, doesn't get blown up as quickly, and his Skullcracker and his auto attacks actually do significant damage to a Nubarak who's a little weaker against auto attacks and against sustained damage. It's mostly against that spell burst protection. So I always like Mura into a Nubarak. I like that for Storm, but then so many globals on the side of Oxygen together with Blaze and Nubarak's imperviousness to tower shots thanks to the Beetles. I think 5% advantage maybe to Oxygen. Well, let's see how it goes, man.
It is going to be that hardened Carapace build for the Anubrak as well, and we talked about the different build priorities for Anubrak players. I'm excited to see this one come up because it's been a lot of Beetle builds as of late. Red Robot getting pulled in by the drag of Maiev, but the phase shift from Heavy connects and Red Robot's able to burrow charge away to disengage. I also like the Muradin for Lauber. I think Lauber is very comfortable on this tank. He really kind of knows his limits with this tank and how to be able to engage and disengage. And we also noted earlier, we have that dwarf block for this Muradin, which is really going to be a great way to just have burst protection from the enemy side. Mid lane does have a camp coming through in favor of Storm, Blaze getting some free siege in bottom, and in top lane, Dahaka and Falstad still doing the little 1v1 as our mid lane, Lauber has to disengage. Dwarf tosses backwards, Retso with the Umbral Bind, but Red Robot just runs in the direction, mitigating any sort of pull.
Pretty good play so far from Maiev, and she's actually hellish at taking camps. Really good. Is hellish good? I guess it depends on which allegiance you have. But she has an 8-second auto attack splash.
Yep.
With Naisha's Memento, so she can actually take bruisers. Something not everyone always considers when they think of Maiev. Just need to go in and hit a fan of knives on 2 players, and then you can do it again. That's how it resets that ability. Red Robot saw CPX, but did he know that there was other people waiting here? This is scary.
Umbra Bind comes through, Heavy has the phase shift, Chattering Teeth, zoning potential coming through for our Junkrat. Muradin, Dwarf tosses in, and Red Robot with the level 4 Shed Exoskeleton is able to speed his way out of there. Shed Exoskeleton basically gives you mount speed without having to be mounted for 3 seconds.
It's so good, and that little cat and mouse game that Anubrak did gained Nazma as a free objective as 4 people ran after Anubarak. Nazma's channeled it in the first tribute, and don't think it should have gone like that normally. If that Anubarak thing didn't happen, there'd be like a big poke fest, try to poke them away from the tribute, by time. Good job by Oxygen.
Yeah, top lane will have the Siege Giants coming through for the Oxygen members. Storm won't have their Siege Giants or Siege Giants for 145 and the Bruiser camp up in 126. Retso being dove on by Red Robot, but Lauber comes through and kind of mitigates any sort of major threat into this Maiev. Here comes our second objective of the game. It's going to be on the friendly side for Oxygen. Lauber, I gotta say, Grubby, there's so much investment to try and kill Red Robot, and it's just not working out, as actually Maiev blinks into the path of this burrow charge, gets a little bit of a stun. Big hammerings out from Draded. He's going to take a bit of a nap for a second. Or at least he's going to get stunned out for a second there. Dwarf toss out from Muradin. It seems like Mater and friends should be able to have this objective phase. Also to note for CPX does have the big Az at level 7 for the priority. But Lauber, whoa, Lauber, that's a very aggressive engagement. And he is going to go down and is going to be a secondary kill. I thought it was going to be a triple kill for the members of Oxygen. But really, strong play from our Oxygen crew, holding strong, Grubby.
Yeah, and this is a big mistake by Storm. Like 5 seconds before they went in, you could see they were all 35% life, and I was thinking to myself, this is where you go out. Like, Lucio can't heal everyone up quickly enough, as Draded gets stunned and rooted by the boss, nearly dies. That would have been funny. But not good, obviously. Yeah, they went in anyway, and they went 0 for 2.
Twice in a row. You know what? Heavy just didn't want Draded to feel alone, so they got rooted together. I don't think they... No?
Don't you defend him. Let's say it what it is. Draded got double rooted and stunned, and he got Brightwing rooted, even worse.
BBJ gonna do the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah, BBJ just got rooted up, but the Grave Golems will be summoned into the top and bottom lane. Here's the difference, though. Look at this bottom lane. Bottom lane has Sylvanas value, and Sylvanas is able to lock down the tower, meaning that the top lane, oh my god, the read from Anubrek, the burrow charge, but Lauber is fine because he's got Dwarf Block. The big thing just on the note of that bottom lane push, that means the boss didn't take any free damage from the fort, so it's got full HP meeting its way into the keep through bottom lane. Lauber getting chunked very heavily still as the avatar form. Wailing Arrow mitigates the value or the ability to be able to get the avatar form.
Bolt, Jesus.
Amazing.
Lauber. It's the predictive bolt on the presumed bunker exit time. That was insane. In the right spot at the right time, like literally pixel perfect. That was... Damn.
Draded pushed up the bottom lane boss into the keep. I don't know if this gets keep, but Draded's sticking around in bottom lane. He wants this. CPX does show up. Draded playing around the stuns of the boss as mid lane's being sieged by Lauber and Rut, so our observer doing his best to be able to jump between the lanes, and we appreciate that. As Blaze gets stunned out of his Jet Propulsion, another good Stormbolt read from Lauber.
10 HP keep.
10? You're...
10. Draded left with full life and mana, and he was like, my work is done. Puts on his sunglasses, turns around, he's like, yeah, that's cool. Those last 2 archer minions are gonna get it. But he couldn't see it properly because of the sunglasses.
You expect to walk away from explosion, and all it is just nothing. It's just...
Yeah, it's like, oh god, I gotta light the fuse again. World wearily, you walk towards it, jaded, and you see this players there, it's like, oh, never mind, let's just tear this page out of the diary.
Well, Curse is potentially available for Oxygen, and if Oxygen gets this Curse, they could, well, I would say they definitely take down the bottom lane keep. The big fight will break out around this because Storm needs to defend. 13 talent here on the horizon for both teams, but not here just yet. Lauber chasing onto Heavy.
Heavy trying to do some getaways, and Gust is forced to be used.
And a blink to save Brightwing. Brightwing is able to blink to the Falstad. The Gust stopping the advances of Storm Esports, as Red Robot loves to really play in that little corridor. And
Same place.
But it makes sense with the Anubrek. It's a corridor where everyone kind of lines up. You can throw a impale out, or you could try and burrow away.
In there again.
He's gonna.
He loves this place.
But it's perfect because it forces only Lauber to be able to jump over the wall. Now Lauber's out of position. Lauber's getting chunked. True. There's a cocoon onto the Junkrat. Chattering Teeth still coming out. Lucio's so very low. BBJ is trying to heal up. Lauber gets the avatar over the wall. Big impale polymorph, and Maev goes down. BBJ with a sliver of HP. Falstad finds the kill into the Junkrat on the far side of our map, and this mid lane fort will go down. Objective phase up in 17 seconds. I'm looking at the boss timers, about 2 minutes on both of them, or a little bit less for bottom lane, but Anubrek going back in, trying to get the damage onto Lucio, won't be able to find the kill, and maybe Anubrek will fall. He will. The phase shift gonna take a little too long. Is this an overextension from Oxygen? It's starting to feel that way.
Very possibly. Draded actually went to finish the job and kill the keep. Imagine if his presence here was so missed that it led to those kills, that it led to those things, all because he didn't get the keep earlier on. There's a Stormbolt. Nice cleanse by Heavy. He's going in with the Z. This could be a big turnaround. BBJ dropping low. There's a kill. In comes the Riptire. Draded. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Lauber's trying to run away, but he can't.
Or Swiftwing will fall. Lauber very low. Nasmus trying to do something here. Trying to casually 1v4. No bunker available for 12 seconds. Okay, there's the Fan of Knives. This feels a little awkward on the Oxygen side. Yes, they got the keep. Yes, they got mid lane for it. Yes, they're going to get top lane for it. But they lose 3 and give the experience back over to the side of Storm, equalizing. Yep. I feel like that was a bit of an overextension, as I said, through mid.
It's all because of that 10 HP keep, man. That's what made Falstad leave. But actually, you're right. Because he left, therefore they didn't need to stay mid and do like a 3v3 in towers.
I think
it's worth almost nothing. Like, it gets a top forward and it literally donates XP to Storm while getting only top forward, getting no progress on top mid keep. and bot keep was already taken. So one of the worst curses, actually. And Storm gets a half-level lead. But let's give credit. Oh, I mean, thinks he did know that there was someone, but did he know that he was going to run into a monster truck?
The Gravedigger showed up and was able to crash in. There's going to be a cocoon onto the Lucio. Maev's containment disc won't connect onto anyone. There's an Umbral bind onto Madara as Lauber is trying to just put some pressure into the enemy team. Has to dwarf toss away. Has the dwarf launch at level 16 for some extra room to be created. 16 not on the side of Oxygen just yet, as we see a bit of a back and forth. The Chattering Teeth with that big Az zoning back Red Robot as he tries to pull this towards a safer position. And I'm waiting to see if this engagement still pops off or if we can check out that replay from a little bit ago. Nasmus just trying to wiggle his way around the concussion mine. Lucio comes in with the high five. Red Robot finding his way out of this engagement or looking for a disengage. I don't know what Red Robot's angling to do. Ghost from Falstead. Oh, the misread from Red Robot. He doesn't get the follow-up CC into the wall as Muradin pops the avatar form. Lauber very low. Red Robot falling as well. Polymorph onto Ivy Tings, who does pop the essence. Gets a massive max range elongated drag onto Nasmus, but Ivy Tings can't find the kill. Nasmus gets the jet propulsion away. BBJ trying to chase in, but he's getting chunked, and this is going to be a double kill. Muradin dwarf launching into the enemy team and sets up a kill into Brightwing.
3v5, pretty nice, and he jumps after Blaze. One auto attack, second auto attack, Thunderclap. Whoa, he does the stun? Nasmus doesn't get away, he actually does the stun. They go 1 for 1.
Meanwhile, in bottom lane, we have a wave crashing onto the core. Ivy Tings is going to try and burrow and buy some time. Pops the essence. He's being body blocked. Ivy Tings should go down here. And this is... he pops the essence again. But now, a pentakill over to the side of Oxygen. Maiev back up from death. Lucy up in 4 seconds. And Maiev will be able to save the core. It's going to get the shielding scratched, but I think she should be able to clear out the catapults. I gotta say, Grubby, that was such an insane, elongated engagement.
It sure was, and super entertaining. Both teams really just not playing at 100% anymore because it's got down to the nitty-gritty. We're at game 4. They're being taxed on their endurance and on their resilience, but that's so entertaining. Both teams getting so many kills. It's 11 versus 7. Now the blue team is cursed, even as blue team still has a Bruiser camp, now getting the boss as well. But this kind of boss is more of a distraction. It's a cancellation of the curse. It's not quite strong enough to rush core with. So they're going to say, okay, you go ahead and deal with the Bruiser and boss. That's going to be wasted curse number 2, basically.
Yeah. A game of just wasted curses, and I'm looking at minimap trying to see what the positioning of Oxygen will be, and I'm curious if they're looking at the enemy side boss. Lauber does check boss with that Muradin. You can see him floating around, but now I'm seeing this kind of collapse or rotation towards the top lane boss. There are 2 members showing on minimap for the bottom lane. It is a Dahaka and Junkrat. Here comes our potential fight around this top lane boss. 20 seconds still on the objective phase, but seems like there's kind of a team agreement, and Oxygen backs away to go clear mid.
Oxygen gets that 1 level lead. They do get to pick up a bit of easy XP, and that kind of works out for them. But neither team can hard force boss. The Haka's still defending the boss on the core, which is maybe going to get like 3% damage on the core.
I say 6. Ha ha ha!
3 plus 3 is 6. Noted for future reference. That's something, but it's not much.
Riptire out from Junkrat, just chasing onto Nasmus, gets a bit of a bop, maybe takes 1/8 of his health down, and 20's looming in favor for Oxygen, but Storm Esports looking back at this boss. Does Falstad have flight off a cooldown? Yeah, yes, he could fly into this, and no 20, so no wind tunnel. I don't think Oxygen goes for the steal. I think they just let boss come into lane and they just proxy or push up all the other lanes.
That's why it was smart that Storm did it so quickly. They knew that there's several reasons Oxygen wouldn't want this fight. They need to defend Siege, and they don't want to give away their 20 advantage. While we wait to see what this boss does, let's take a look again at that really long fight at the bottom lane in the rerun of that. Here we go, Bahamut.
Ivy Tings has the essence, gets the elongated drag into the trap. Retso unsure of where to go, does go down. Nasmus, man, I can't believe Nasmus got that jet propulsion away, and BBJ thirsting after the kill will be picked off, but then Lauber comes through trying to make the big play, does set up that kill into Brightwing, and then Lauber once again dwarf tosses out. Madara says, I will come and save you, Nasmus. And Nasmus is like, I got the 1v1 outplay, don't worry. And they trade kills, but still, it is going to be a pentakill in the end because Red Robot has the read onto Jahaka, who does delay things out a little bit here, but that delay helps out the time for Maev to be able to respawn and get back in position to clear out the waves. Meanwhile, back into our main game, or the live game, we will see the Bruiser Camp for Storm Esports grabbed, but in that time of the replay breakdown, we are seeing Oxygen with the 20 talent tier advantage. How do they use this, Grubby?
I think range Moshpit into GG. If Draded can find another angle, it's up to Storm Esports to try and prevent that. It's all about vision, this. Falstad needs to come at it from a place of where Storm doesn't know where Falstad is. He just walked into a trap, so that's that kind of showed where he's at. Siege Camp and Vision are obvious next positions, and after that he's got to be creative. North, south. North, there's a minion wave from Storm, so that kind of is that. So I think that Storm can expect Falstad to be somewhere south. So they want to make sure they're not too much squeezed into a top wall. He shows himself. This matters, but he's in a good position to do a barrel roll to the right and then do a gust. This is a gust moment. This is it. This is it.
Bunker down from the Blaze, Cocoon onto the Junkrat. Maev trying to clear that out as Draded's looking for the angle of the Gust. Nasmus out of the bunker, big Gust into the wall. This is huge. Can the members of Oxygen make a play? Burrow Charge will connect on a 2. Rutso so very low, but Madara wants to chase in. Madara. Is the damage going to be there? High five from Lucio. Madara's baited. Phase shift comes in from the Brightwing. No, it doesn't. It's canceled out because Ivy Tings got dragged.
The interrupt on Brightwing.
And things fall apart for the side of Oxygen Esports. They lose Sylvanas, they lose Anubrak. BBJ chases in. Draded doesn't have Gust for 30 seconds. The move speed is amplified by BBJ. Dwarf toss in. We see Draded getting the soothing mist value from Hebi, who's trying to blink around. Rutso low. Draded does fall. Hebi trying to get away. Lauber once again finds the Stormbolt actually into Blaze. I thought that was going to connect onto Hebi. Blaze trying to make a play around this. Keep in the top lane. Can the members of Storm end here?
Well, I'm not sure. They're a little bit hurt, and Lucio is out of mana entirely. They're gonna try because 5v2 is really good odds, and they have a bit of free healing from Lucio always. That might be enough. And these aren't the most damaging ones, Blaze and Brightwing, but there's still a small chance, actually. And the defense is successful.
Bunker down from Blaze. Containment Disc will connect onto him as well. Hebi trying to do his best to just dissuade the enemy team. Wailing Arrow from Sylvanas will come out. She's going to blink forward, and that's going to be the kill into the Junkrat. The core is at 42% and falling. Rutso is low. Ivy Tings is low as well. BBJ is falling. Lauber trying to find the damage necessary. The core is going to be at 22%, and they lose 4 members on the side of Storm Esports. The members of Oxygen. Oh no! BBJ is able to speed away. But look at bottom lane.
He wants to do this on purpose, right? Because actually, this is like, it's the end of the game. And he just wants to let every single member arrive seconds later. This was a very needle-thin all-in attempt by Storm. I think we knew that. Blaze actually got a number of really big jet propulsions. And the death timers were too short. We had Sylvanas coming back in 12. Lucio was out of mana. Super close, but it's Oxygen that gets the win here in the heroic core defense. Very, very well played. GG.
My disappointment is immeasurable, Justing, as we have no Cho'Gall.
My day is ruined.
I'm upset. Last season I was lied to by Funds. This season I'm lied to by Lauber. I can't trust any of these CCL players.
Yeah,
sorry, I guess we can talk about Curse Hollow or whatever, but my disappointment, I had to mention that first. But no, I want to get your breakdown on this, Justin. What were your thoughts on that Curse Hollow game?
The game, it was a bit of a fiesta. It was back and forth, just neck and neck. It was a bloodbath. It was just, look at that, 26 kill game, just back and forth. But it felt like pretty much in every single situation, it was back and forth. But in almost all of them, Oxygen came out just slightly ahead. The way that the map was traded, it was top keep, like front gate maybe, for bot keep 10 HP. The Oxygen had a bit of a mistake when they walked up mid and kind of got caught out when Felstead went to go split to finish off that keep. So there was a little bit of a throw there, but then both teams ended up losing their curses. It was just neck and neck. But every time Oxygen came out just slightly ahead, And that was evident when it climaxed on the core, when the same thing happened again. They got the core just so low, it was so close, but just not close enough, and then Oxygen just walks to the enemy base and ends the game there.
I really, really love the way that Oxygen played this, and we're going to get an interview in just a second so we can ask a few questions about what comms or even just the play style of going into this Cursed Hollow game. It's really, really exciting. It was a really exciting matchup, and I do believe we have Madara on the line ready to go to chat with us. Madara, my friend, congratulations on your victory. How you feeling?
Thank you. Feeling really pumped, honestly. Pretty energetic after that one.
It was a really fun series, and I got to ask this immediately before I let Justin and Grubby ask questions. When your core was starting to fall, what are comms like? Is it all chaos? Is it all screaming? Or was there like just making a game plan as you were respawning?
We're pretty much just saying who to target until we're all alive and calling out our death timers. And then as soon as we're all alive and they're dying on the core, we're just calling out who we're going to kill next. Just trying to
all right.
pretty much win.
Oh. No, I love it, absolutely. Justin, any questions for Madara?
Yeah, I have a question. On BOE, you guys drafted a triple global composition.
Yeah.
Is there any reason for that? If you can, maybe don't give away any secret strats, but is there some reasoning behind that?
Yeah, so we like a lot of globals on BOE just because when you're standing on the Immortal for so long and it's just like the back and forth between poke, it's really nice to get that lane pressure. So just having the globals for that makes it a lot easier. It did start falling apart in that game when they were able to just, kill us under our Immortals, but as you see, the Falstad, especially in the hands of Draded, can just win the game, especially at 20.
Really good point.
Thanks.
Yeah, Grubby, any questions for Madara?
Yeah, that first game you guys ran the Vikings, you very dominantly showed it in the first pick, confident with it. But to, I think, many people's surprise, it was deconstructed by a Zeratul that wasn't Cure, by a draft that was defensive. That was you guys' special pick. Did that concern you at all going forward?
It didn't really concern us. We've been practicing our Vikings, seeing like what we can work with it, and they did it pretty well. Like answering it with the Falstad and the Zeratul, it made it really hard, like for Nasmus to get too much value. But it's a work in progress still. We're trying to figure out the best way to play the Vikings on that map. But after they beat it, we decided maybe don't first pick it for a second.
Yeah, sure. And then you guys ran a lot of cool global tactics. I think Draded really stepped up with some really big Falstad plays, just holding that Mighty Gus for the perfect situation, playing out of vision. Yeah, he looked great on that. And you did some great scatter shots on Hanzo on Battlefield of Eternity, sometimes hitting all 6 into someone. That must feel so good.
Yeah, it feels pretty good.
You guys are off to a strong start. And just big congratulations. Very entertaining games today. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Very stressful for us, but I'm glad you guys enjoyed.
I mean, we all had a blast. I mean, I was screaming my head off. I'm sure chat loved it on the Cursed Hollow core. But we are going to be seeing you next weekend up against 30K. 30K played earlier today against Granite Gaming. I just want to get your quick thoughts. Expectations going into 30K. Do you think they're going to be a challenging opponent, or do you think this is going to be an easy matchup for you next Saturday?
I think they're definitely going to be a challenge. They're one of the teams that didn't have too much of a redraft going on this season. And I mean, they looked really strong today, and they didn't even have Dino playing with them, which I'm pretty sure is their main range player. So if he's there and combined with how good they look today, I think it's definitely going to be something we're going to have to work for.
Alrighty, well, I don't want to keep you too long. And before you get out of here, are there any shoutouts that you'd like to give? The floor is all yours.
Yeah, for sure. Huge shout out to Oxygen and to Gunner, who's still our sponsor. Huge shout out to the team, especially Draded, played his heart out today. Shout out to my friends, except Matthew. I hate you, Matthew. And then shout out to you guys for putting this on. It's been a blast these 3 seasons, and hope to keep it going.
Oh, thank you so much, Madara, for joining us. Sorry to Matthew, wherever you are. And good luck in your scrims, and we'll see you next weekend up against 30K. You have a great day, my friend.
Thanks, you too.
Oh, man. Oh, poor Matthew. Just getting called out on CCL like that.
It's always Matthew.
I mean, that's unfortunate, but that is going to be our final best of 5 for our Halloween Heroes CCL broadcast. And I got to get both of your thoughts on all of this. Today was a really, really fun day. Justin, are there any takeaways from the 2 best of 5s you saw?
30K looks extremely strong. I think especially, as Madara noted, them not having their full roster and still being able to look that strong is impressive, to say the least. Especially when you had like Nagaram not even playing his main role and still performing. So 30K looks like a top 3, top 4 team at least right now. They look really, really powerful. And Oxygen versus Storm, I wouldn't be surprised to see some form of rematch later on in the season. The 3-1 scoreline maybe doesn't show how close the series really was. This easily could have went to a game 5. And both these teams are also looking like they could be, any of these teams could be contenders for top 4 this season, I think.
I would absolutely agree. I want to get Grubby's thoughts as we check out the standings from today. Was there a big takeaway from the 2 best of 5s, or was there any big takeaway for you from the 2 best of 5s?
Well, this was Storm, perhaps not at full power yet. They could have gone 2-2, they could have gone 3-2, but they went 1-3. CPX availed himself heroically, but Dino is probably the true starter player for the 5-man. He was on skiing vacation. Who can blame him? That's lovely. In the meantime, we have the first 4 wolves of the pack running forward. It's 30K, Wildheart, Oxygen, and Simplicity. With Diamond Ant, Storm Chili, and Granite picking up the scraps, the leftovers. For now, they are 0-1, but the season is young. The possibilities are endless. CCL has well and truly begun. We are starting to see the meta being shaped before our eyes. Looking forward to next weekend already.
I cannot wait for the matches next week, and I would love to skip through my week and be able to just, I go to bed tonight, I wake up tomorrow, and it's CCL day again. That's what I would absolutely love, but unfortunately, that is not the case. Speaking of next weekend, I do believe that next Saturday, or this upcoming Saturday, November 6th, we still will have the, I guess you could say, awkward time schedule, because we haven't caught up in the US on the time zone change. US will change on November 7th. So that Saturday, November 6th, will be the same start time of 19 CEST or 7 p.m. CEST for our European friends. But in NA, it is going to be 11 a.m. PDT and 2 p.m. EDT. And before we get out of here, we've heard some closing thoughts. I want to get Justin's thoughts on, Justin, what was your kind of highlight of the day, if you will? What was it, the wisdom power play of the day?
Yep, I've got the wisdom power play of the day for you all today. And it's going to be a lesson on macro and what not to do if you have Vikings. So we can go ahead and go into this clip. It's on Towers of Doom between Oxygen and Storm. So if we can pause the clip at the start here and just take a look at the map. You see that Falstad and Brightwing, they have both the globals on Storm in the bottom lane here, dealing with the fact that they've had this lane pushed in the whole time. And Eric is down there because Nazmaz knows that they're going to fight around boss. Had Oxygen not gone for this play here, then most likely this would have been a 3-0. This was kind of the point where, if you just take a look at the map, it's very doomed for Storm at this point. There's no reason for Oxygen to take this risky boss when they don't even have a talent tier advantage. So you can go ahead and roll this clip. Nazmaz does do a good job by leaving Eric bottom, but they opt in for a 5v5 even with Gust available. And they use the blessings before Nazmaz is even there with all of his Vikings. The Gust is incredible from Rutzo. He completely splits the fight, and Madara is just in an awkward position here. So it's kind of off screen, but IB Tings here kind of just completely destroys Draded on the top side of the map in a 1v1, and IB Tings was a huge reason they came back into the game, and this pick here was really important because of that as well. And CPX, just with the sidesteps here as well, just showing that he doesn't need a real support that's catered towards him. He has a Brightwing, and that's good enough. He's got sidesteps. CPX took his pre-workout today. So, and then this is where Nazmaz just barely doesn't kill the Rutzo, and Rutzo escapes with 1 HP thanks to a great save by BBJ. But yeah, so this was the moment where Storm, this was the main mistake of Oxygen, and this was the one moment that Storm needed to come back into that game. And had that not occurred, they probably would have had a 3-0. So something to think about for Oxygen, and kudos to Storm for being able to bring it back in such a bad situation in a macro state.
Well, Justin, thank you for the elaborate breakdown, and I now know exactly what to do on Towers of Doom. don't take a boss if you don't need to take a boss. That's essentially it? That's essentially it? Or maybe find a power play into a boss, something like that. But thank you for breaking down that clip and teaching us all a little bit more about positioning and the potential that you can have going into a boss play on Towers of Doom. We can look forward into our schedule and see what our matches next Saturday, November 6th, are going to be. We will kick off Saturday with 30k as Oxygen, as I mentioned in our interview just now. That match, that's going to be an awesome one. And then right after that, we have another amazing matchup of Storm Esports versus Wildheart. I'm really excited for this Saturday kickoff. For me, the big one not to miss is going to be that Storm Esports versus Wildheart. Wildheart was dominant to start out their best of 3 yesterday up against Chili Mountain and took that 3-0. Storm Esports, they're not showing their full potential. I don't think we've seen the full level of Storm Esports. I think next weekend they'll remove their armor and we'll see them, fight with all of their might. But unfortunately, this is also the culmination, the end of our HeroesCCL week number 1. And I gotta get Grubby. What is your big closing thought from today?
It's a very good first weekend of CCL, and I think we see all the teams kind of starting to take the direction of where they might be ending up. But there's also been a few players that weren't part of the starting lineup yet that are going to be coming back. So the level is only going to get stronger, history has taught us, as all the teams study each other, learn, and try to improve and iterate. So it's only going to get better from here on out. November 6th in particular had some pretty sick matches that I don't think anyone wants to miss. For clarity, Amsterdam time starts at 7 p.m. this time because of the shifting apart time zones. So don't forget, I'll see you there.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun this weekend, and we thank you all for watching. We really encourage you to check out our sponsor, NXT. You can use !NXT in chat to find out all about Next Level Gaming and the awesome Esports Center in Florida, where they do every single weekend watch parties on Saturday and Sunday of HeroesCCL. For everyone watching over there, hello, and thank you for supporting HeroesCCL, as well as to Next Level Gaming for joining us and sponsoring HeroesCCL Season 3. I've been Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justing for this immaculate weekend of games. We'll see you on November 6th and 7th for more HeroesCCL. Until then, stay safe, and we'll see you in the Nexus. Good night.
Happy Halloween.